Crossover. Oh, killer crossover.
Another victim to the crossover. Cross him up and sit him down.
All right, time for the crossover. It's brought to you by Everlow Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlowconcrete.com. Hey, I just realized something. All four of our baseball teams won last night.
Yeah!
Three of baseball.
And hey, Schwelly. Yeah, buddy.
He's dealing.
Yeah, buddy.
Josh, any thoughts on Marcell Ozuna?
No real thoughts. That was an excessive run last night.
Had a nice blast.
You were rooting for him to not hit the home run.
I have no opinions on Marcell Ozuna.
You're different right now?
Yeah.
You had some before.
His time in St. Louis seemed to be difficult.
Now, are you guys going to be able to play the rest of that series?
No.
And then you have the Royals
No.
coming.
Big Daddy Hurricanes on your way.
Hey, your playoff lives are on the line. You're going to need to play a doubleheader on Monday and I don't know, maybe a day game on Tuesday and then fly somewhere and play a night game on a playoff Tuesday.
Yeah.
So they're bummed.
I mean, it's supposed to rain. I was looking. It's supposed to be raining in Atlanta, like, starting this afternoon until Friday. And the Royals come in there afterwards.
Correct. I'm a little worried about the remnants getting up to West Lafayette on Saturday.
Although the wind I saw is not supposed to be that big of a factor. If you don't care about the rain, precipitate all you want, just don't bring in that wind.
We are weather warriors here, though. That's for sure.
But that's a Midwest thing.
It is.
Or you live in, like, an area that has hurricanes.
Yeah.
Like, that is the go-to in the Midwest, is just go to the weather. If it's an awkward conversation, just start talking about the weather. You've got a friend for life.
How about this, man? How about what we got right now?
Yeah.
We don't get it much around here.
You can complain about this, man. Yeah. Now I started throwing top 10 today.
So the Royals decided to finally win a game and finally
Rob Manfred.
score a run. I appreciate Rob Manfred for making that rule. What a great rule. Because if not, the Royals would never, ever score. They have to get the game to the 10th and then get all their runs.
I have to admit, I'm more used to it now, but when it first came out, I thought of it as the beer league slow pitch softball rule.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of it, and I didn't like it. But now I'm like, all right.
I don't actually like it at all, but for the purposes of last night, I very much enjoyed it. It was nice. Yeah. So now I'm getting greedy. Minnesota's losing, and I'm like, I don't want to go to Houston. I want to go to Baltimore.
Mm.
Is that your choice? If you had the choice, would you rather play 3 games in Houston or 3 games in Baltimore?
3 games in Baltimore.
I agree.
Because I just think Houston is, man.
I don't want to be there.
7-20.
I don't want to be there in the playoffs. I just don't. I don't want to be there. Although the Royals, interestingly enough, people forget, won a very important playoff game there.
Yes, they did.
The year of our Lord 2015.
Yes, they did. And they might have to win some playoff games 2-1.
Interesting. The Braves have also won many important playoff games in that building.
Shout out Jorge Soler.
All right, now let's cut to the real stuff, because it's now been less than 24 hours, so you two have had a chance to digest something. I have been here a while at this radio station. You guys are 3 years plus. I said to Nick, and when I heard it, Old Man Doug's call yesterday is
pretty
one
good.
of the top calls in the history of this radio station. And I'm glad that you have shared it with America.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe people have helped out Doug. They stopped by Equitable Bank and said, hey, I heard you on the radio. This is what I can do.
Here's my peacock.
I would like you guys now, less than 24 hours later, let's break this down and react to it. Because you did a great job reacting in real time. Because I was in the Walmart parking lot yesterday when I heard the call. And I was like, oh. And then there were openings in there where you guys could have done some innuendo, but I think you handled it well.
Yeah.
But I would like now,
no
24 hours later, your reaction to Doug's famous call.
Big peacock overreaction.
That's what we do on sports radio. We are tech support for Peacock. People aren't familiar with it. And the question is still relevant. How many devices can you load your Peacock on? I don't know the answer to it. But I assume all of them.
I would think so. To try anymore.
Just probably not all of them at the. You can't watch them all at the same time,
right?
But you could definitely watch any of them at any given time.
So, have you guys ever been kicked off of YouTube?
I have.
Like you're using
YouTube TV,
somebody's account, and it will say, it'll give you a message.
Yes, it'll say maximum
Yes.
whatever. Yeah,
I'm a
yeah.
big have my own account guy.
That has
Yeah.
happened where we have it with my wife's family.
I'm a big have my own account guy. I'm
Wait a
not
minute.
I'm with Connor. on this one.
very seldom will I loan my account or will I be loaned an account.
But didn't you tell me that the Happers have
That's-
your wife's parents' Netflix account?
No. You
Whose account are you using?
for Netflix?
Yeah.
Mine, ours.
I thought you told me you had a streaming service that you were using that is either your parents or your wife's parents.
My parents got me the Bally's for my birthday.
Oh,
Really?
Yes, because
That's a pretty cool
the
birthday present.
Bally's doesn't have YouTube
Yeah.
on YouTube TV. So they were like, here.
That's how you watch the Royals game.
Yes, so I could watch the Royals.
that's nice.
Which is great. It's a great gift. It's a gift
Yeah.
that keeps on giving. At least for another 5
So
days.
you are
Yeah.
not using anybody else's logins.
That is correct.
Good for you.
Whoa.
As much as I can think about right now, yes. And I only know of one situation in which someone else is using mine.
Okay. Family member or friend?
Friend, HBO Max.
Okay. Gosh, we use a lot, but we also allow people to use ours too. Netflix is ours. Paramount is ours. Peacock is ours.
How many
We,
devices?
It's a fair question. YouTube TV is not ours.
Wow.
Hulu is
Wow,
not ours.
you're getting free YouTube TV.
Yeah.
It's a good deal. What are you giving? In exchange?
Netflix and
Ice cream for a year.
Paramount. We have Disney, but nobody uses our Disney.
Oh, so you're on like a share system.
Well, the Disney one is because through Verizon we have a family deal going on.
See, that's what I have with that.
But Hulu, we're borrowing. MLB, borrowing from a dude you know. And who refuses to let me pay him, which is just weird. I'm like, come on, just let me give you something. He's like,
Ah,
"Oh."
okay, my dad has MLB TV and I use that sometimes.
Okay, see, I use MLB TV for my buddy.
You know,
Because my dad wants to watch the Yankees.
if you were a T-Mobile, you get it.
I
Yeah.
want absolutely nothing to impede my watching of something.
100%.
Yeah,
Josh.
and that's
100%.
that's where the YouTube TV is kind of a gamble.
I
don't wanna
take no
worry.
chances.
I'm not gonna sit there and worry about if I'm gonna get booted off my own deal
Yep.
while I'm watching it. Absolutely.
I've never been kicked off in a time that mattered with YouTube TV, but it's happened like once before with just like a random just watching TV. But if it happened during, say, like a Bears or Nebraska game or something, then yeah, then I'd probably
Triggered.
I'd rethink what I'm doing.
Travis says, I'm the one who pays for Peacock. I've shared a login with a few of my in-laws and one of my siblings. There was one day I was trying to watch a game but couldn't. See, that's the nightmare.
3 concurrent streams on Peacock
That's the nightmare
is the
scenario.
official answer.
Okay.
All right.
I go, Doug.
I have my brother is a T-Mobile customer, so I partake in the MLB TV.
All right.
Okay. So
And you need that to
And you
watch
feel
your Braves.
and you feel okay about that, right? Yeah, you're good
Yeah.
with that. Yeah.
so I will
T-Mobile wants me to.
I will be the horrible human being because I'm going through I borrow Peacock. I borrow Disney Plus.
So you're
I
just a
borrow
freeloader.
YouTube TV, HBO Max, Netflix. I used to ESPN Plus. I was using Jimmy Allen's login for a while.
So,
Then he
okay, now
changed the
hang
password.
on. So you don't pay any money for
Now, hold
anything.
on here. Hold on.
What are you
Hold on.
paying for?
That
I
tracks.
share
Brings
Freeloader
cookies.
Gary.
my Cox login.
Oh,
Nobody.
There are a
and
lot
nobody
of
has
people
Cox.
who
You
have
have-
Cox.
Why do you have Cox if you have free YouTube TV from somebody else?
I know.
Well,
Because of the lag time.
How many devices can you load up on your Cox?
Nobody uses your Cox.
okay, so in my office,
But
I
it's-
use
it's
the
there if you
YouTube
need
TV. On my regular TV, I have Cox,
You have your cable.
but I like to see myself on Friday nights.
So you have-
But
so
I also
you're a company guy.
Incredible.
So one of the things is because, as you mentioned, you can't get MLB TV on YouTube, and you also can't get Bally's.
Yes.
Yeah,
So,
that's
but
correct.
on Cox, I have that, and then I can get Contour, where I can watch some
Yeah.
channels. So I like to have all of the options.
Okay.
So I do share my Cox login, and there are quite a few people that I've worked here or I've worked with that have the login.
But if
so
you
I
d-
think I share.
If you decided one day that you were going to cut you were going to be done with Cox, you were just going to go free
yeah.
everywhere.
Untethered.
You
Within
could-
an hour, I would get a text from someone.
You
who
could do
would be
that.
like, "What's up?"
But you could take the YouTube TV and just zap it over to your phone, and all you'd have to buy or zap it over your TV. All you have to do is get, if you wanted to watch the Royals or whatever, you get Bally's, and that's the only thing that you'd have to pay for.
True.
Interesting. Interesting.
I am reminded,
and yes, it
I
tracks.
do pay for Hulu because I do share that with someone, but I pay the bill.
So you pay individual. I had the deal like where Nick has, where when I signed up for Verizon, they gave us Hulu, ESPN Plus, and Disney Plus for the duration.
Yeah, as long as you're a Verizon customer,
Yeah.
you have it.
Yeah, which has been great. So
Now
I just
the
bundle those together.
My Peacock is if you're a student at a Big Ten school, you can get Peacock for free.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Are you a Big Ten
Oh.
student?
Well, I mean,
know
it's a UNL.edu login. I mean,
And you have that?
it was shared. But okay, so there
I was
was
gonna
a
say,
thing
we're-
last year when Nebraska's
Show me
first
your
game on
class
Peacock
schedule.
last year was Maryland, right?
Correct.
They were running a plan where if you got in right away, you got Peacock for a year.
It's like $5.99 or something.
Yes.
Yeah, it was super cheap.
So, but then you remember a lot of people signed up for the 1 week of Peacock,
Mhm.
and then they, everybody helped everybody say, "Hey, remember you gotta."
The better play would have been doing it for a year, because then you'd still have it. You'd still be on the promo right now.
Yep.
And Nebraska's playing on Peacock this weekend. It might be their only Peacock game of the year.
Now, do I get any cred for when y'all were jumping on the free Big Ten Plus password from USC? I didn't partake in it.
I actually did and got the UCLA one because after basketball, I canceled it. I'm sorry, after baseball.
Okay,
after
so-
baseball, I canceled
So
it. Then
you
I,
might have been on. I think you were away.
I'm on the UCLA
would never-
promo code.
Right when USC and UCLA were joining the Big Ten and became official, they put out a tweet for their fans
Yeah.
to, "Hey, Big Ten Plus, this is what they do in the Big Ten. Big Ten Plus, here is a free 1-year code."
Yep.
Well, the problem is
It worked
everybody
for
in the
everybody.
country
It
went
did.
after it, and after about 6 hours, USC had to shut it down.
Wow. Wow. I don't
And then
remember this.
UCLA did
Yeah,
the same
I
thing.
got in on
And
the
you know what?
UCLA
The
one.
password was like USC 2024.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's what it was. It was UCLA 2024. I have it, and
But-
they have not
but-
knocked me off
But
of it.
around
Amazing.
here,
Even though my
there were
favorite team is
so many
Nebraska.
people who
on
were
it.
like, I got it. And they were Nebraska fans
Yeah.
using USC's code.
That's awesome.
Then they wonder when you have to locate your favorite team or the team you're going to follow that it's like, well, that's not UCLA or USC. It's Nebraska.
They,
But
I mean, they
yes.
can't kick you off now.
Nope,
you
they can't.
you beat the system.
Yes, exactly.
They have
You
to take
found
it
a
out.
loophole. You
Remember,
took advantage of
Big
the
Ten
loophole.
Plus this year changed because it's what you can only get your team.
I've never
Yeah.
even attempted to do a BTN Plus. I would have no use for it.
I know what I'm getting.
Eh,
so,
yeah.
no, thank you.
Depending on what school, yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, some schools they're not.
I've never felt the need to really watch
Yeah.
Nebraska baseball versus South Dakota State on a Wednesday. Although I would have missed a no-hitter this year.
You would have against K-State.
But I
yes.
thought, am I going to pay $16.99 or whatever for the? No.
yeah, when you can get it for free though, it's quite the deal.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Now, we've been very bold, very forthright, sharing vulnerabilities with the
Yes.
audience. Let's spin that forward. Journalism.
Oh, yes.
Connor pays for journalism.
I pay for journalism. I love paying for
yes.
journalism
Yes.
because I
Gentlemen-
love journalism.
Are you gentlemen sneaking around the paywalls of your
no,
fellow scribes?
nope. I've had a long time subscription to the Athletic.
Yes.
On 3
Yes.
24/7. I believe Brunsey gave me a complimentary pass.
So that's the deal, Josh, that you have to realize.
Mhm.
When you're very cool like us,
I mean, I'm very cool.
you
too.
you get the VIP. They give you
they
a
send
VIP
you a code.
access. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm athletic, Omaha.com.
Yeah. Same here.
I'm also journalstar.com.
Okay. I'm not on.
Yeah, the Husker
I'm not
Extra.
on Journal
The Husker
Star.
Extra.
I don't have the
Oh,
Journal
so-
Star.
I don't have the Journal
Husker
Star, but I have the
Extra.
Husker.
So
Yes, same here.
when the guys at Rivals went over to On 3,
Mhm.
I think we all got
Correct.
Yep.
we all got free logins because they want you to interact on the message boards.
Yeah.
Sure.
Don't see me interacting over there.
But that's a good subscription.
I
love
am
the
no.
articles.
I am no longer. I am no. I tried Rivals. I'm no longer on Rivals. I'm like, what the hell?
Oh man,
Like,
Steve.
Like, sheesh.
So
They
Sorry,
sifted that. They sifted that right
sorry,
out. of there.
Steve. Sorry,
sharing
Tim.
journalism when Rivals was like the big site.
Mhm.
The login that is on one of these computers
So funny.
is somebody that hasn't worked here in a while
I
because they were given a free access. And so some of the computers in this studio,
Yeah.
still are they automatic login?
I still use someone's login that is no longer here for a resource that you use when it comes to finding our local scribes and potential guests that cover college football. college football teams.
Press box.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. I have the login for a guy who no longer works.
But you
here,
know,
and it
I
still
mean,
works.
I mean, some of the stuff I do it for tax purposes, so you can write it off. Because it's work.
Oh yeah,
related.
I do. Absolutely.
That's not how taxes are done anymore.
Is that how taxes work?
It's like, what does that cost you
Not
annually?
anymore.
Oh, all right.
Somebody got rid of that.
They did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll help you.
You need like
They.
many deductions to do it that way now.
Oh,
Or at least that's
Oh.
what my accountant tells me.
all right. Well,
They
I haven't
introduce you to
gotten
my
that letter
accountant.
from the government in the mail yet.
Accounting. I pay for accounting.
Yeah. Yes, you do. Okay.
Subscription to accounting.
No,
I mean,
a
technically
person, a human
I
being.
do, but it's, kind of,
Now,
hey.
do you have access to Flow Sports, which is Big East?
Mm.
I don't. I feel like I
It's-
could probably
Isn't
get a
that
code for
real
that.
sports?
Isn't that really expensive? Yeah.
Like, I will give it. So Summit League Network is kind of expensive.
I feel like
Yeah.
if I really asked and I was like, hey, I want to get
Yeah.
a login, they would probably hook us up.
Robin,
with
After
that.
the
send you a
season
form?
of doing some Creighton baseball, I feel like I should get a little.
Yeah, we're like
little
we're a Flow Sports
We're
talent.
employees.
Yeah.
I'm get paid by Flow Sports.
I was told we were going to get more money if we're on Flow Sports compared to just the radio. That
But
didn't
what
happen.
happened to the Big East Digital Network?
It's still there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did soccer on the Big East Digital Network a couple
Okay.
weeks ago.
Did you get a login for that?
I did not.
We aired the audio from a Big East Digital Network broadcast Friday night on 1180.
There you go. Soccer.
Okay.
Didn't follow the radio format at all.
Weird.
Fine.
No, yeah.
It
How
wasn't
dare they?
Schreiner's fault. He was with me.
No,
How dare
yeah,
they?
it was no.
How
Schreiner,
dare-
Schreiner wasn't on. I was very lost.
How
when,
dare they do that?
when not John Schreiner started talking.
But are we okay? So
Those are very, very difficult. Very difficult to.
Like an actual
Sync up,
yeah.
soccer match, or just the difference between the
The radio, like
Big East.
the people who produce the broadcasts
Yeah.
are worried about producing a broadcast, and then they're like, I forgot we're on the radio.
Mhm.
And,
Oh, sure.
and then it's like, all right, just take a break, and then you gotta have somebody back there who's fired.
After about 5 minutes, I was like, "Oh, okay, they're not going to follow this."
Yeah.
So when they stop talking, I'll fire.
Just
commercial
take a break. Yeah.
and keep firing commercials until
As many
they're
as you
back.
possibly can.
hey, so some of the stuff Doug said yesterday, I think is valid because
it's
a guy
confusing.
emailed the other day on Monday and he goes, "Hey, I live here in Omaha, but my folks live out in a rural part where the Wi-Fi isn't great,
Mhm.
so it's kind of tough for them to watch the game because you
HughesNet
never
Gen
know.
5.
You never know if you're going to get,
Mhm.
But he asked one other thing, and I don't know this answer. And now that you guys are the experts on the cock, is
Easy.
the recording and the playback, do you have to wait until the game is over to go back and watch it?
Yeah.
They archive everything.
I
Yeah.
believe that's
Yeah,
true.
you do have to
Okay.
wait for it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That can pose a problem for Peacock exclusives.
Mhm.
Well,
Now, okay.
especially there's there's people that I'm not there at kickoff, but I want to watch the game.
Yeah.
And
I want to watch it from the start.
and then maybe at
Uh,
halftime you catch up.
I believe you can do that.
Yes, I think I did that with Maryland.
I did that with was it Nebraska Purdue basketball that was on Peacock last year
Yes.
when Nebraska won? I did that with that game. I caught it late, but I wanted to watch it from tip to the end and caught up to it. So I was able to. I think I paused it right as it started, and we had to. I think it was just putting Reese to bed. Picked it back up, and I was able to start normal and then catch up. So yeah, you can.
Okay.
At
That's
least I
good.
could on that one.
I don't have much experience with Peacock. I just don't. I rewatched the Colorado game on there, and I was annoyed by the fact that there was all the times they took a commercial break, there were ads.
Yeah, you couldn't actually get through them. Yeah.
Why don't they big in 60 those suckers?
Hell yeah, I've done it with wrestling pay-per-views.
Okay.
You can start late and catch up.
I think, yeah. I remembered, I think I did that multiple times with basketball last year because, God, Nebraska was on the cock a lot last year for hoops.
Easy.
They were.
Easy.
The one thing, their presentation is pretty good.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well,
Oh, it's sharp, man. NBC.
But they also, when it
Remember
is
the
on-
Maryland game,
when it's
though?
on Peacock, they will give you some of the pregame stuff,
yeah.
like stadium vibe and
Well,
tunnel walk.
do you
all that
guys
kind of
remember
stuff.
during the Maryland game, though, when the open, it was like they had a camera on the field that was just shooting the field and there was nothing going on, but then there was some audio in the background. But so I think that was a little hiccup. I don't think they meant to do that. But as far as the NBC presentation, once things get rolling, I think it's second to none.
It's very odd.
But I think that was a little bit of oh crap, we have that camera rolling right now, and this is what people are seeing on the feed.
It's on-demand live sports is just such a weird concept to me. It's so to Doug's point, I guess, like it still doesn't quite make sense in my head, but you go where the games are, and they know that, and so you're gonna get the Peacock on many, many devices.
You're required at least once. Every team in the Big Ten is required once.
It's required. Mm-hmm. I didn't know it was required. But
in the SEC, you are required to be on SEC Plus once. So thus, Texas, number one in the country, is playing Louisiana Monroe on ESPN or SEC Plus.
Interesting. Yeah. I guess. Good for those networks. Good for those TV networks.
So nice I'm glad that everybody could help Doug out.
Yeah, we got him.
There are more Dougs out there than you would.
Oh, think. Absolutely.
Yeah. For sure.
Fremont Fred. He's cooking right now. We'll probably have about six more tweets. Why does my face get put on these things? This is Gary.
Oh, whoa. Context.
And we're not broadcasting in Fremont, Fred.
We're broadcasting around the world, though, Josh.
Yeah.
We're on the YouTube. All right. Well, I'm excited for more baseball tonight at the ballpark. Are you there?
Yes.
All right. Let's
that
rock
was
and
a
roll.
fun atmosphere last night.
Get that playoff atmosphere rocking.
Gotta have it.
It was good.
Mm-hmm. It was minor league games. You're not into every pitch. Last night, everybody was into every pitch.
It was awesome.
A lot of heckling going on.
It was awesome. It was. I thought about it during the game, and I thought, remember, I always refer to this game, the NIT game that Nebraska basketball played, where there was 2,000 people there.
Yeah,
it was Miles last year. Everyone knew Miles was going to get fired. They were playing,
yeah.
They were playing Butler, I think, at home.
Yes, it was Butler. Yeah.
And they just told everybody who bought a ticket, they were just come down to the lower bowl. Let's all just bang this out.
Yep.
And there was probably, I don't know, like I said, 3,000-4,000 people there, and it was awesome. It was awesome. Every single person that was there was just locked.
Yeah, they're diehard basketball fans.
They were so locked into this NIT game, and
you have a large crowd, and it's not a great atmosphere because not everybody's a basketball or hockey or football fan. But then you get the true fans. Yeah. Oh yeah,
I love environments like that.
Yeah, they're engaged.
And now I'm rooting. I was kind of like, you know what? Can we just, whatever happens, get this, finished off in 2? Now I'm like, let's get a little Thursday going.
Mm-hmm.
Why not?
I got to win tonight. You can't play Thursday without winning tonight.
I'd heard this.
That's what
I'd heard this
Casey
somewhere.
Stengel once said.
Can't play Saturday without winning tonight.
That's true.
There's
a lot of guys that are thinking about going to Vegas.
I think if the Royals lose tonight and the Twins win, or the Tigers win, then you don't get to play tomorrow. Your season's over. Canceled.
Yeah. That'd be unfortunate for Josh's team.
It would be.
To play some baseball.
You wouldn't have an opponent.
Sure. I don't think the Braves will be playing baseball today.
If you want to catch the Royals, better come up to Kansas City. That series might get moved there anyway. Who knows?
Let's do it. Why not?
Are the Chiefs at home this weekend?
No, they're in Los Angeles.
Perfect. Get the parking lot rocking. $30 a pop. Get in there, and let's get Royals Braves extra home games this year.
All right. We'll see you tonight at the ballpark.
All right. Sounds good. That's a crossover powered by Everlevel Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlevelconcrete.com. We will start things off on a Wednesday next.
It's the Connor Happer Show. Are we sure we want to do this?
Could you, make an announcement that we're ready?
It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620, The Zone.
Hello, everybody. Welcome in. Happy Wednesday. It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer and Josh Odson with you. Welcome. Let's start with a YouTube comment from Star Wars Fiend.
Hi, Star Wars Fiend.
Does Connor find it ironic that yesterday he wanted Friday football games, many of them, and the AD must have heard and said no Friday games for you, Connor? Like no soup for you, Seinfeld reference. No soup for you. All right, does that make me does that make Troy Dannon the Friday night football games Nazi?
The under hits.
It does. We don't want to get out there and spread anything like that. That's for sure.
Couldn't be us.
No. Welcome to the show. We will discuss Mr. Yogurt's comments last night on the radio, of which he had many.
Oh yeah, did he say things?
Of which he had many. Yes, about that those Friday night games and his. I love the Big Ten and their letters. They love writing letters.
God, they really
Everything has to be in a letter. And
I mean, we're paying for the letterhead. We got to use.
Do you think the letter is penned with think they dip it and it's the scroll and the whole the quill?
A little bit. Yeah.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Do you think it has to be written in cursive?
The back of the envelope is definitely sealed with wax.
Do you think there has to be classical music playing in the background?
Excuse me, Shannon, fetch my letter writing music, please.
Yeah. So Troy Dannon got a little busy and he started to write a letter. He just wrote some letters. He was on a letter writing campaign to the Big Ten Conference. We'll talk about that today. And his comments on, he was asked about the Wi-Fi and the stadium and the things that are going to happen in the stadium. And if you guys have noticed, if you've been to a Nebraska football game, I don't know, ever, you realize that you're walking into a dark, bottomless pit as far as cell reception and internet is concerned. There's no way in and there's no way out. Once you're in there, you are excommunicado with the world. Good luck. Take all those pictures and
put
them on Facebook later. Exactly. So Troy Dannon was asked about that last night. And in there, he mentioned that when they build the new stadium, that things will be different. And I said, hang on, let's go back. What's this about new stadium? I thought we were just getting chairbacks.
I had a lot of questions about that. I'm glad everyone else did. It made me feel less like an idiot.
We will play that clip as it was heard last night on the network today on our show. Elsewhere in sports, well, a lot of talk about the UNLV quarterback today. Didn't think we'd be talking about the UNLV quarterback today, but here we are.
Yeah, didn't have that on the bingo card.
I thought NIL deals were just a summer thing. But here they are.
Realignment and
we've
NIL
this
talk.
This has been it's really been, we should have waited until the bye week to get this.
Mm-hmm.
Should have just waited. We could have a nice dose of summer in the bye week. So we'll have that, of which there is many things being said and details emerging on the UNLV quarterback and his unfulfilled commitments,
quote unquote,
which has led to him quitting the team and leaving and going into the transfer portal.
He is out for the season, Connor.
He's taken himself out for the season. Elsewhere, Mr. Hurricane is here to ruin our sports weekend.
This is bad, people. This is real bad. I don't think the hurricane is all that bad. I hope everyone's prepared in the Southeast for it, but
they stay ready.
This is bad.
It is. The Royals have scored a run, and maybe they'll score 17 tonight. Who knows?
Oh, they've been saving it.
Yep. I just think maybe the dam broke, or the dam has a crack in it, and the Nationals are like Clark Griswold putting those pieces of gum in there, and it just keep blowing up. That's the hope as the Royals continue their quest to make the playoffs.
A rain delay started 1-0,
0-0 in 10.
Yeah,
really, it should have been. They should have played it like soccer and just given them each a half a win.
That's That's for the sickos.
It sure was. It sure was. But they scored. It doesn't matter if it was earned or unearned or who was put on second base automatically in the 10th inning.
Those are the rules.
Or if Joey Gallo was 1 inch away from just reaching into my heart and stealing it.
Oh, man.
In the bottom of the 10th. I thought the Royals had most certainly lost by way of a walk-off home run against their best closer, who was acquired at the trade deadline, and it was foul. And I think whoever I need to thank for that, I appreciate it greatly. Thank you.
That's playoff baseball, Connor. You're in it.
I know. And we're in it at Warner Park too.
Hello.
It was fun last night. Man, there was some intensity too. We had
great weather.
We had squeeze plays, we had diving catches, we had base like the classic 3-2. Like when you're in your backyard, Josh, you've dreamed up this exact scenario. It's a playoff game. It's 3-2 in the bottom of the 9th. The bases are loaded and there are 2 outs. All the pressure's on. You've simulated this in your backyard many, many times. We actually got it at Warner Park last night. We got exactly that. Unfortunately, a ground out to short ended the game, so they'll roll it back again tonight and then hopefully get to Thursday. But it was fun, and I would encourage people to go out to the ballpark.
Not dead yet?
Tonight? No. Not
by
at all.
A long shot.
Winning 2 games in a row, anybody could do it.
This Storm Chasers team has won more games than any other Storm Chaser team.
That's right.
Why not go win 3 more games?
Even Nebraska football has won 2 games in a row this year. They even were doing that when they were bad. Not commonly, but they were doing that.
It has been known to happen.
They were doing that from time to time. Today, we will talk to Mitch Sherman of The Athletic at the bottom of the 11 o'clock hour. We will have Robin Washut on the show at 1. And the tweet bag is coming up at noon. That's the lineup powered by the Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard. Please get in your questions at Happer Show in the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed. We already have a few of them in already. We'd like some more. So you can tweet at us there. You can call or text 402-951-1620 on the 42 Degrees of Source hotline. Email Connor or Josh O at 1620thezone.com on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. And you can leave a comment on the YouTube as well. 1620 The Zone TV on YouTube. Or you could watch us at zonetv.live.
For the best tweet bag questions.
Yes, Wes. What do we have for him, Josh?
ZZ Top tickets.
Hello.
We'll get you in if you ask a good question. You and Jimmy Carter right there. Liberty First Credit Union Arena.
We got a tweet this morning from was it DJ? I think it was Dave, right? He's called in before. He said he lives in Thailand.
Oh yeah.
Right. And so he sent us this tweet this morning. Must have been listening back to the show of Jimmy Carter in an Allman Brothers shirt from some period of time. Now I don't know if that roughly translates to ZZ Top in 04, but we take what we could get.
We might have been close.
There is some historical precedent for Jimmy Carter enjoying music, which is nice. I'd take that as a win for us. A YouTube comment here from SEAL Team Nick.
Hi, SEAL Team Nick.
Memorial Stadium, a.k.a. the Gulag. Untether yourself. Baymont says, I miss baseball's canceled, Connor. I do too, man. I wish that I could not. I wish that I didn't have to watch a playoff baseball game and then watch another playoff baseball game on my phone at the same time.
Oh yeah,
double the stress of playoff baseball games.
I hadn't thought about that. That is what you were doing last night.
And for those of you who aren't baseball fans, let me let you in on a little something. You know how baseball is. It's a sport where you go to the ballpark and you hang around and you walk around, and you eat a hot dog and you drink a beer, and you get into it when the game decides that you should. But playoff baseball is every strike, every ball that's hit into the air. Everything is important. And so it's the most stressful thing that you could possibly get, because we have this gigantic sample size of a season, 162 games, all for it to potentially boil down to one pitch. It is stupid, and it is so difficult on the heart. And so just double that when you're watching your team play playoff baseball games and then your other team play playoff baseball games. It's not great. It's not great.
What else is like that where you just sign up and love the stress of it all?
I don't like football. Football is
I mean,
inherently stressful all the time, right?
not like playoff baseball.
No, it's not.
Because I mean,
Because any result could
Oh.
happen at any
Right.
given moment. I guess that's the case with football. Like anybody could score a touchdown at any
Sure.
given moment.
but like 2 yards in a cloud of dust, like, okay, next play, we'll get them on the next play.
Yeah.
Playoff baseball is like,
Yeah, you score one run in baseball and you have a 1-run lead in the playoffs. You're like, oh yeah, we got
we
this.
got this. Hey,
You know.
hey, closer, you want to do a 3-inning save?
Right. Yeah. And you're doing things that are uncharacteristic.
Yeah.
I watched the Storm Chasers bunt last night. They've been a little bunty this year, but like they bunted in the second inning yesterday. And I was like, hello, we are playing for keeps around here. This is awesome.
Won it.
Yeah. Playoff baseball is
It's sick.
very stressful.
I love it.
It's like March Madness.
Yeah.
It's like every game is a March Madness game, which makes sense because that's the postseason for that sport as well. All right, we're off and running on a Wednesday. We'll come back. We'll round at the hour. A couple things to discuss from yesterday. Let's talk about this UNLV quarterback. Everybody is tweeting out their favorite parts of the story. My favorite part is that his name is Matthew Sluka. That's a funny name. It's like Luca with an S.
That's right. That's right.
Matthew Sluka. So we'll give you some details on this and ask if college football is once again dead. Many people are saying,
no.
Josh. Yep, I know.
Is
NIL.
this-
This whole thing really snuck up on us.
Is this the 27th death of the sport of college football this year?
This might finally be the one that does it.
Mm.
Remember when guys were remember when Christian McCaffrey sat out that Sun Bowl? And we thought, oh God, we're all doomed. We're effed.
That should have prepped us for this year of Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah. Hey,
Healthy people don't go to Germany.
do normal people go to Germany to get special opinions on their limbs?
Nah.
No, they do not.
You're going to want to not have him on your fantasy team this entire season.
Back after this on 1620 The Zone. right, welcome back to UNLV football post game. Couple big stories here.
Big Reb overreaction.
Big Reb overreaction. I love that, Josh. That's really good. So the two major stories in college football right now both involve the Rebs. Who could have thought that it happened to our Rebs? Yeah. Which conference are they going to be in?
Yeah. They're curious. What?
They were.
It was very oddly worded. They're exploring.
They were exploring. I like curious better, actually. What's going on?
We're con curious.
And now this. From last night or maybe this morning, UNLV quarterback Matthew Sluka has put out an announcement. This was actually late last night, 11:30. Vegas time, 9:30. He says this: I've decided to utilize my now. Let's give it some context first. UNLV does not have a loss. They may be one of the premier contenders for the Group of Five slot in the college football playoff. Josh,
that's right.
There's context.
They have that win over Kansas,
which might not look great. But it was a win over Kansas. Sluka writes, the starting quarterback who had transferred in from Holy Cross this year. I've decided to utilize my redshirt year and will not be playing in any additional games this season. I committed to UNLV based on certain representations that were made to me, which were not upheld after I enrolled. Despite discussions, it became clear that these commitments would not be fulfilled in the future. I wish my teammates the best of luck this season and hope for the continued success of the program. Now here's where it gets messy because there's more details, but we have a very clear PR war that is playing out in front of us.
Yes, I don't know who to believe right now.
Adam Rettenberg adds context this morning from Bob Sluka, the father of Matthew Sluka, Bob Sluka of Sluka's Refrigerators. He told ESPN that his son's agent agreed to an NIL deal with the school back in February, never received payments despite requests, and never asked for any adjustments to go with the original deal. Quote, we have no idea what the hell happened. Here's a string of tweets from Pete Tweets himself. Pete Thamel. Former UNLV quarterback Matthew Sluka's NIL representation. So now we're getting really into the PR game here. Marcus Cromartie, Equity Sports, said that Sluka verbally was promised a minimum of $100,000 from a UNLV assistant before transferring there. None of that money was paid. Once Sluka enrolled there was no effort by UNLV's collective to formalize a contract at that amount. Months after Sluka enrolled, and Cromartie made multiple efforts with the staff and the school to address the issue. He said the school and collective came back with a contract of $3,000 per month for the next 4 months. If you could do the math on that, that's $88,000 less than $100,000, which was apparently the original agreed upon amount. The only money that Sluka has actually received from UNLV is a $3,000 relocation stipend for his move. Cromartie said there was never an ask for more money after UNLV's hot start, only the initial amount he was promised up front. When that didn't come, he evaluated his options and decided to play elsewhere next year. The red shirt will allow him to play a full spring at a new school and develop with his trainer this fall. He enrolled in July at UNLV after graduating from Holy Cross, and he missed spring practice. Now, there's this other side of this where, he has now turned himself into, after just a few short games at UNLV, a pretty high-profile guy. There's a lot of people in the transfer portal, specifically at the Power 5 level, who would say, that guy could play some quarterback. He could play for me in a one-year pinch next year or whenever. He could play for us. And that's kind of the other side, I guess, of the PR war. It's like, well, he's just doing this because he saw a rise in his stock and now he feels like he can get more money, and he took advantage of the redshirt system and is going to use it and go get more money next year. I got to say that I tend to believe the athlete here. NIL is absurd
and
absurd.
He was in that spot where he had to act this week.
Correct.
Where, okay, if I play another game, I'm here all year. I got to make my decision now. I have not been given a check yet, even though, sometimes academia can be a little slow.
Yeah. In this case, it wasn't academia. It's just promises. So like, you got to get this stuff in, writing, and if you don't, then ultimately you as the football player have the power that you hold, the leverage that you hold is fine. I won't play. And fortunately enough for him, he doesn't have a year of eligibility left. Now, he does have a year of eligibility left. My question is just first one right off the bat among many. What happens if he didn't have a year of eligibility left? He can't take his red shirt and I guess he could take a I guess he could take his red shirt this year no matter what. Never mind. That was a poorly thought out thought. But I'm saying I imagine this is happening a lot all over the country where guys are just getting taken advantage of by the NIL game because of the nature of it right now.
But Connor, what about the school and love of the game and your team? You're abandoning your teammates.
There's that.
The glory of a college football playoff spot is on the line, Connor.
I have now explained this, so let's just sit on it for a second, and I'll come back. I want to get your thoughts after this. We will return on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, so by the way, I had a half-baked thought before. Remember my half-baked thought, Josh?
You ever seen the back of a $20 bill?
Not that one.
Oh, sorry.
Not that one.
What's your half-baked thought?
If I was going down the line of if he didn't have a year of eligibility left,
UNLV QB Matthew Sluka.
So what I meant was, and thank you to somebody who sent me a message and said, no, you had that. You had that. You just applied it to the wrong thing.
You were right.
What if he had taken his red shirt before?
Oh, he didn't have the option.
What if he didn't have the option to redshirt? Yeah. They would have just been able to take advantage of him, and that was it.
I mean,
he agreed to a $100,000 deal, and they only gave him $3,000, and there's nothing he could do besides say, "Hey, give me my money."
I mean,
he could still leave the team, but he doesn't have his eligibility left, which I would imagine is a huge playing card. You know, that's the ace in the hole here for him because he can leave.
I would actually think UNLV is kind of lucky he still had his red shirt, because if he doesn't, then he's making it messy, right? Trying to get his money.
Yeah, I mean, he's out there probably yelling, but
yeah, he's
at the end of the day, he can't do anything about it unless he wants to end his playing career right then. Like, that is a much bigger hole to dive into than if you have that nice safety net of, fine, I'll just take my red shirt and transfer. I want to play football still. Ultimately, that's why college football players play football, because they want to play football, not because they can get super cool NIL deals.
He's probably walking into the facility every morning on IG Live like, hey, walking into the facility, wonder if they'll have my money today. Bet they won't.
Yeah. I mean, he's going to be a malcontent, Josh.
Here's my Cash App.
For sure. But
I'd hate to throw a pick on Saturday. Here's my Cash App, fans.
Now that would be bad.
Right?
What would happen if I just tanked this game?
Vegas.
That would have some questionable things attached to it.
Matthew Sluka mysteriously had his leg broken in the middle of the night.
He broke his own. Oh, yeah. Okay. The Vegas got him. Star Wars Fiend writes in.
Hi, Star Wars Fiend.
I saw that and I thought, what a selfish $$.
Rich guy.
You literally quit on your team and had a chance at a college football playoff spot for your own gain. I wouldn't pick that kid up for anything now. This is the issue with NIL. What? Well, I don't think this is the. I mean,
this is an
issue, I guess, with NIL. Like, I mean,
I don't know how real
that guy was, according to him, and like agents, lawyers, I don't know how we're not getting this stuff in writing or what this looks like.
There has to be a contract of some sort, right?
But from his standpoint, or at least how he wants to tell the story, or how that side wants to tell the story, is he was shorted $88,000. It's the whole reason he's there. You're a quarterback from Holy Cross. You went into the transfer portal and you got a cool NIL deal from, I don't know what other offers the guy had, and maybe he went to UNLV for the love of the game because he loved Vegas, and hell, I love Vegas.
You too.
He wanted to go for the love of the game and he wanted to go to Vegas. And he said, and UNLV said, all right, we'll throw $100,000 on top of it. And that's the story. But when you get, like, point blank period, when they tell you you're going to get $100,000, I'd be trying like hell to get $100,000. If someone told me I was going to get $100 and they only gave me $12, I'd be like, what the hell? Where's my $100?
Definitely.
It's just that times a lot. Right. So I'm not a fan of the way this whole thing played out. It's obviously messy, and yeah, the guy left his team, but I don't know if you're playing that, how does the locker room feel card? How does the locker room feel if those dudes got NIL deals and they're watching their quarterback, the most known guy in their team, the face of the program, whatever, not get even a fraction really of what he bargained for?
Not great.
I'm supporting my quarterback in that situation.
Yeah.
I want my quarterback to be there to help us win
wait.
games. Ultimately, you want to win games, but I'm thinking, no, this is not a problem with him. This is a problem with the system.
They got a tough 5-game slate here. They probably want their quarterback who's played really well. If this is going to sound super douchey. I watched the UNLV Kansas game. That offense couldn't do anything. Sluka definitely at some point in the third, fourth quarter said, bleep it, guess I'm going to have to do it all myself, and ran around the lot the whole game.
Texter says, I want my $2.
$2.
Yes, I want my $2.
That's a reference from the movie Better Off Dead, Connor, starring John Cusack.
Dang it. Sorry, I didn't get that.
$2.
Did he guarantee him $100 and only give him $2?
No, he the newspaper delivery boy said, okay, it's the first of the month. I need my $2. And John Cusack didn't have it.
I would want my $2 too.
Yeah.
It's a principle.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, in the case of $100,000, it's not just about the principle. It's also about the $100,000.
It's also about the money.
Yeah. But it's also the principle. Jake writes in on Twitter.
Hi, Jake.
At Connor Happer on the J-Tech Construction Zone Twitter feed. Paying the players is ridiculous. Back in my day, this would have never happened. The kids should have been paying the coaches $1,000 a month for putting up with their immature butts. Okay, this is sarcasm. I wasn't sure where that one was going. I like it. So it all brings up, it all leads to this. First of all, we're so messy and unregulated in the NIL thing, and it varies and it differs from state to state, and there's language and all of this stuff that just is not streamlined in any way.
What's the tweet that's going around today? NIL just drug deals gone wrong now. Who are you going to complain to?
Seriously.
Yeah. Who are
you yelling at?
Yeah,
you're yelling into the void, and the only leverage that you have is
your body.
You're
the commodity
as a football player. And so if you have a year of eligibility left, then he's taking advantage of that. So it all leads to this. There is currently legislation that is, in the process of moving. Remember that whole settlement from over the summer?
Yeah. It was going to really clean things up.
Well, it will when it comes to, I shouldn't say it will. It will help when it comes to fruition. We got to just people always bring up the NFL. It's like, man, the guy didn't, there's first of all, there's no situation in the NFL where the guy wouldn't be getting paid whatever his contract said he should be getting paid, because there are contracts in the NFL.
They paid
and that's
Tua.
really helpful. Yeah.
They paid Dak. They paid Kirk Cousins.
Right. And so the other thing is in the NFL and in any other civilized world, this stuff is streamlined and regulated. Everybody knows the rules, and they're and it's not all done quietly behind the scene. It's not like Josh said, drug deals.
It's not drug deals.
It's in the real world. It's not drug deals.
Yeah. Okay.
In the drug deals / NIL world, it is drug deals.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that's not what you want. This is we need to get to the pay for play thing, because that's already what it is anyway. And it's too messy, and it's all hearsay. And a guy gets offered $50,000 from X school. He can go back to Y school and say, X school offered me $150,000. What would you like to pay me? And they say $200,000. And all of a sudden his market value goes up just from words. Are they
real words? Who knows?
That's not how it works in life. That's not how it works in the real world. So of course you're going to have situations where both sides, both the school, the NIL operations, the sponsors who pay it, and the players themselves are going to be taking advantage of each other, because they're all doing it. It's this. They're like, I have this leverage. I have this leverage. I'm going to start this rumor. I'm going to say this. And you're just going back and forth, and it's all happening under the table and shrouded in secrecy. It's so stupid. Let's get this out in front of everybody, okay?
Denzel Washington in the documentary Training Day, when talking about drug deals. It's not what you know. It's what you can prove.
What a movie.
Documentary.
What a movie. Paul writes in on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox.
Hi, Paul.
He says Sluka has not had a game yet where his completion percentage is over 50%.
That's right.
He's 21 of 48 for 318 yards. How does this and how does he does have 6 touchdowns and only 1 interception, and he has 39 carries for 253 yards. Those are pretty modest stats for thinking some other team is going to give him 6 figures. Yeah, exactly. I don't think this is a play by him to say, "Oh, I've seen my worth now, and people want me." And I was offered $100,000 from another school or $200,000 from another school in the middle of the season to transfer, to take my red shirt and transfer there next year. Like this is all he said, she said, obviously, but that theory, I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I don't think that's the truth. I tend to believe
you don't
the
think
player
he went into business for himself.
Now, when we get into players and we get into representation of players, like I said, it's all a PR game. So it does come down to who you believe. And I tend to, we have to take agents' words with a grain of salt always. Shout out to Drew Rosenhaus or whoever is out there, promoting their player on any individual given basis.
Blake Snell's going to have a phenomenal year.
Don't worry, guys. He's been working hard. He's in the best shape of his life right now.
Yeah.
So, we have to take what agents say with a grain of salt. At the same time, I think his story sounds more believable than whatever the hell else is out there. Oh, he saw his worth, and he got offered blah, blah, blah by Colorado State or, I don't know, Iowa or something like that. And he took his red shirt, and he's going to go there next year.
The school is saying that their side of it has been fulfilled. He has received his payment. Well, then the Rebel Collective or whatever the hell they call it should theoretically have an invoice for that, right? We're all record keeping, right?
No. The answer to that is no. We are not all record keeping.
Interesting.
Apparently. And so that is the mistake by everybody here. What is the deal with people and not having contracts these days? If money is being exchanged, especially with a guarantee of $100,000, like
$100,000, might want to hang on to that one.
If nice. If you want to play the blame the player game, here's where I would hear you out. Are you signing up to go there if they guaranteed you $100,000 and you're not signing on a dotted line somewhere saying you're going to get $100,000?
I would probably say, look, you've got me. You've sold me on this.
Yes. I'd just like to see some paperwork.
Tell me where to sign.
I will sign on a piece of paper and we will do this, and I will be very happy to be a Reb. Go Rebs.
Go Rebs.
So either that didn't happen, or the collective is just straight up not paying what the contract said, which is even worse because then that person could go back and sue. So I don't think they're doing that. They must think that there's some sort of loophole where they don't have to pay them. They must, right? They wouldn't risk getting sued.
Right. I mean,
because I'd sue them immediately. It's like $100,000. You told me he's getting $100,000 and I signed for $100,000. So where's my $100,000? And if you don't give me $100,000, I'll sue you for $100,000. Probably more than $100,000.
Maybe they thought, oh, this broke ass child won't actually.
He'll take his $3,000 and be happy about it.
This is Vegas. We're making deals all the time.
These guys have agents, man. This is their job. This is their job. So somebody somewhere was very stupid. Shocking.
Amazing that such a thing could happen. Someone would be so careless with money in the city of Las Vegas, Nevada.
So, yeah, there's all these rumors out there and these tweets. We got one tweeted at us from Joe.
Hi, Joe.
Who's this? Carl Reed, who covers college football for 24/7 Sports.
Former head coach.
All financial commitments for UNLV quarterback Matthew Sluka were completely met. But after wins against KU and Houston, Sluka's family hired an agent and collectively feel that his market value was increased per source. So how do you read the sentence, Josh? All financial commitments were completely met. I read it as they felt like they only were contractually obligated to give him $12,000, and so they gave $12,000. And he thought, I'm guaranteed to get $100,000 because that's what they told me, and I'm not playing for this garbage anymore. I'm not going to play at a place where they just say stuff and it doesn't come true. Then it's his own fault for not signing something somewhere, right?
Right.
And you're completely within your rights to take the leverage that you have and use it to your advantage.
New thread from Ross Dellinger just dropped.
Oh, we're cooking now.
A minute ago. Rob Sine, CEO of Blueprint Sports, which operates UNLV's collective, tells Ross and Yahoo that the collective never agreed to a $100,000 deal with Matthew Sluka.
Perfect.
It made a payment of $3,000 to Sluka, and we're discussing a monthly payment of $3,000 before the quarterback's decision this week. Matthew's agent, Marcus Cromartie, first introduced himself via email to UNLV collective officials in late August. Cromartie wrote to officials that he was seeking more NIL opportunities through the collective for his client. However, Sine said Cromartie is not a registered agent in the state of Nevada. Because of this, he advised Cromartie
and there's your loophole
to discuss the situation directly with the coaching staff. I think that's actually the one thing you can't do until Cromartie registers in the state. Sine says he has email exchanges with Cromartie.
Found your loophole. That's it.
Yep.
Guys, I don't know. Maybe better agents is the better. Maybe this is the lesson out of all of NIL. Maybe the one thing we've learned from NIL is that
vet your agent.
You should have a better agent. Or maybe it was truly a case, because that's what make it. I mean, this is what that makes it sounds like. The guy, the player, Sluka, is just saying, "Oh, look, they owed me $100,000, and they didn't pay me, and now I'm leaving." When none of that was actually ever talked about, I find that hard to believe. But it's certainly within the realm of possibility, because once again, this is all he said, she said, and it plays out in the court of public opinion. Stupid. It's so stupid. Pay the players from the universities. It'll be great. Now, NIL will still exist.
Sure.
NIL will still exist, and there will always be this shady garbage going on. So maybe the real answer to this is just let's get some streamlined legislation here. But the NCAA doesn't want to do jack about it, and nobody else wants to touch it. And each of the states is trying to gain their own advantage because the coaches and the athletic directors of the big state universities can play political hands to try and change laws and get things, specifically agreed upon. This. It's so stupid. Who could have thought that it would get out of control?
Two takeaways from that Ross Dellinger thread. One, if you're the agent, what are you doing? What are you doing preying on UNLV play? You're not registered. Like, obviously that's what it was. It was just, hey, there's $100,000 over there. Why don't I do that? Who cares if I can't work in Nevada? And second of all, Lamar Jackson negotiated his own contract.
That's right.
How?
And he was like Walter White when he blew up Gus Fring. I won.
Yeah.
Walt, what's going on? That nursing home just exploded. I won. What a weird thing to say, but it's true.
Might have been a sign.
It's true. Stupid. Don't like it. I don't know. Can I be any more clear on this? Just pay the players. Done with this. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I don't think it's you want to know the facts when you talk about these things, because then it becomes this salacious he said, she said garbage that plays out in the court of public opinion. We don't have signed contracts and they're not publicized. I would just honestly, I think a lot of these, I've said this before, I've said this years ago, a lot of this stuff would be smoothed over if it was just mandated that the NIL contracts are public record. Transparency.
Go a lot smoother.
Right. That way everybody could see it and everybody knows who's in the wrong if somebody's complaining about it. That would help a ton, in my opinion. So I don't know if that's the next step with this, but we're not anywhere close to that. All right. Let's take a quick timeout. Mitch Sherman is going to join us on the other side. We'll talk about Nebraska football with him. Nebraska's defense, they're mad. They're mad. Can they channel?
Good, I guess.
Can they channel the anger into finding that edge again. The edge that has not been there since September 7th against Colorado. Arguably, the first couple drives on September 7th. What has happened since then, and where are we going with the defense? Mitch Sherman joins the show on the other side in the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone. But I do have a reminder, of course, that week 3 of $25,000 four-quarter pick'em is officially open. You can make your picks and get a piece of the prize. The total at the end of the year will be $25,000. You could win $2,500 each week. You can play right now. Get your picks in at 1620thezone. Remember.com. Remember, last week's winner went 9-1. Nobody went 10-0 last week, so you got a chance. Congratulations to Chip, who's going home with hashtag big check, not hashtag big meteor, hashtag big check, $2,500. It's that easy. Just make your picks on $25,000 four-quarter pick'em on 1620thezone.com.
Who do you want to talk about first?
Mitch Sherman, The Athletic.
He can play. And we need people that can play.
And we'll never be royal. Let me live that fantasy.
Mitch Sherman, The Athletic. On the Connor Happer Show. On 1620, The Zone.
He can play.
Okay, so a week from today, when we're playing this stupid Lord song again, we will know the collective fate of Mitch Sherman and I's Kansas City Royals. Mitch joins us now on the 42 Degrees of Source hotline. Good morning, Mitch. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well. Connor, how are you?
Good. What do you think we'll be talking about a week from today during our preamble to the interview, which we always have? It's just about 120 seconds of Royals chat.
I think we're going to be talking about the wild card series. I say that with a.
You seem really confident about it.
Sold me on it.
I just can't. I can't. I'm a fan on this, and I just can't bring myself to think like that they're not gonna get it done. Well, I can. I think that during every game as I watch, but when it's over and then they've got another game and think there's still life there, I'm gonna stay positive on this and believe that the Royals are going to find their way into the postseason.
Yeah,
I don't know what's going to happen when they get there. They're having problems scoring runs.
I've started to teach myself to not think this way along the lines of, hey, they get a 2 game. They're 2 games clear of the playoffs with 5 to play. Like, they shouldn't lose that, right? I stopped. I took that sentence out of my vocabulary until I just proffered the idea to you.
We're fortunate that the Nationals also cannot score.
It's great.
And that 2 of their remaining 5 games come against that team that was more just abysmal at the plate last night than Kansas City. But I'm a little worried about those games at the end against Atlanta.
Yeah.
I haven't looked into it too much, but I feel like that's going to be a problem.
There's a hurricane too, which might affect Nebraska's game against Purdue. But yes, there's also a hurricane that we have to worry about.
There is a hurricane. Is this gonna? Oh no! Yeah, I'm not.
Oh, he doesn't know.
I'm not overly concerned about the remnants of Helene getting their way to West Lafayette. I've been looking at the forecast though since I'm making that trip, and I don't want to be sitting in a.
No.
Now it's not going to be a hurricane. It'll just be a lot of rain if it gets to Indiana. I'm hoping it looks like it's going to take a turn directly to the west. There's some other weather going on out there that's going to interact with the remnants of Helene, and I think it's going to steer it south and west of West Lafayette. That's my meteorological advice.
Look at that, Chief Meteorologist Mitch Sherman. Does the Athletic have a meteorologist spot that you can apply for?
Yeah, it's already me. I'm
self-declared.
I already write those stories. If you want to go back and see the written evidence, just find my story about the 1-year anniversary of the Nebraska-Akron game that didn't happen. Man, I got deep in the weeds on all of the meteorological stuff. And how that night just turned into like hours and hours of rain.
Yeah, that was a long night at the at Memorial Stadium. That's for sure. Okay, so speaking of Memorial Stadium, if Troy Dannon had it his way, there would be no more Friday night games at Memorial Stadium, with the exception, I suppose, of Black Friday. Friday night normal games at Memorial Stadium. I find it interesting that they did it, and it seemed to be a relative success. And now this is the response. I guess, what was your takeaway from what he said last night?
Well, I think it was a reaction to what Michigan said, what Ward Manuel, the Michigan athletic director, said, and then the reaction to that of Nebraska fans and media. Like, hey, if Michigan, Dannon wants Nebraska, and this is admirable. He wants Nebraska to be on the top level of Big Ten, Big Ten program schools that can throw their weight around. We've seen this from other Nebraska athletic directors and coaches in the past, and it hasn't always gone well for them to act in that manner. But Troy Dannon's new, and he's only 6 months on the job, so there's some things that maybe he'll learn, or maybe he'll just end up being in the right place at the right time, and Nebraska can resurrect his football program and ascend to that level where it does have the ability to throw its weight around. But if the same would be true at Ohio State. If it had 7 consecutive losing seasons, it wouldn't have the same kind of gravitas that it does today. So I don't know that Troy Dannon in this moment can get a lot out of demanding that Nebraska no longer play Friday night games at home in comparison to what Michigan, the defending national champ, can say in that conversation. But he can sure try, and he can sure appease some people around in the state who didn't want their Friday to turn into a football game, and just say, look, I did what I could. I sent this letter to the Big Ten, and if we get another one, we'll play it, but we don't want to.
I think it's a great point. He can now go back to them and say, hey, look, they gave it to us. I can't control anything. I told them no. And that's what we have to say. I wonder, Mitch, and wondered out loud yesterday if, the days of Ohio State and Michigan kind of throwing their weight around for these things they're always going to have opinions on what the conference is making them do. At the same time, I think that Fox and the Big Ten is kind of onto something with these Friday night games. It ended up being the 3rd most watched game of the week. And so it wouldn't surprise me to see, big time programs get home games on Friday nights, even against their best wishes.
I think it could happen. Probably will if this thing continues. I mean, I don't see why it won't with 4 million people watching Nebraska, Illinois. You can imagine the Fox executives and the Big Ten executives, those are interchangeable. You can imagine them looking at those numbers and thinking, well, if Nebraska, Illinois can get 4 million, what would Ohio State, Washington get? What would Michigan Penn State get
totally
on a Friday night?
Yeah.
I don't know that we'll ever see that, but who knows? Maybe you wouldn't have thought 5 years ago that we'd be where we are today.
Mitch Sherman of The Athletic is with us. I know we talked about it this morning on our podcast, Nebraska's defense, and it's sort of let's just get to the basic point of this, the fundamental point of this. Do you feel like Nebraska's defense has lost? I mean, it was talked about by Tony White yesterday, but has lost their edge over the last couple games. And then what is the process in kind of finding that? Has this week been enough of a wake-up call for them to find that same edge they were playing with against Colorado and against UTEP again, and noting that it'll be a pretty sleepy, rainy, maybe environment in West Lafayette on Saturday morning?
Somebody just told me it's sold out, so I'll believe it. I'll believe it when it's homecoming.
So much for sleepy.
They sold it out. I don't think that's what it's going to be like, but maybe there's still a lot of tickets sold. We've seen that in Lincoln, where it can be sleepy when it's sold out, and Purdue even more so. I'll take a picture before kickoff, and we'll document it that way. Yeah, I mean, losing their edge, having an edge, it's such a subjective. It's a difficult term to define. So I guess, you could say that they have, and it's the evidence to back it up is, look at the rushing numbers that Northern Iowa and Illinois put up. Look at Nebraska's tackling and getting to the quarterback. It hasn't been the same as it was the first 2 games, but some of that has to do with the style of offense that they're going against and just the level of play of the opponent overall. Not in the case necessarily of Northern Iowa, but that was 34-3. So we'll forgive the Nebraska defense for whatever happened that day.
Yeah,
I think that this is part of the growth process, and I'll buy into what Matt Rule's saying about. I mean, if one thing that Matt Rule knows is kind of the trajectory in building a program. And he's seen it in year 1 and he's seen it in year 2. He's been down this road a couple times before. And I don't think he's blowing smoke when he says part of what year 2 brings is achieving a new level of success and then understanding that doesn't just happen because you're there and you've got to bring it every week. and that's what Nebraska experienced a little bit. Maybe both of the last 2 weeks coming down from the high against Colorado. We thought there was, nothing that could be viewed as a negative about all of the buildup for Colorado and all of the hype and bluster that went into that game. And then in the 2 games since, Nebraska just hasn't had quite the same pep in its step on the defensive side. So they're learning. If you take Matt Rule at face value, they're learning about how to bring it every week. And it's just like another 1 step forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward kind of thing, at least in their plan.
Yeah, I was sort of amazed by his, just his disposition on the entire thing. He was just like you said, he was just kind of like, yeah, this is just how it goes. I'm disappointed that we lost, but this is a pretty classic year 2 thing. You get built up and you think you're really good, and then you get set back down, and maybe that needs to happen in order for Nebraska to kind of advance to the next level. I wonder if part of advancing to that next level is finding a way to not tighten up in the fourth quarter of close games, of which there will be many, Mitch.
Yeah, I mean, it's a Rule year 2 thing. I don't know that all year 2s look like this under coaches who rebuild. Some do it faster, and I think Rule's is, what he leans on is that his way of building can have long-term sustained success, where others might build and you might see the highs come quicker, and you might not have this kind of a year 2 thing. But this is very much his year 2 process. What's interesting is he's never really stuck around in New Orleans long enough to see if sustained success would occur. Now, you'd think at where he had Baylor and where he had Temple, after 4 years at Temple and 3 years at Baylor, that if he'd have been there 10 years, that they would be rolling and it would continue. But there's not any evidence to support that, other than just like what he saw in the program and what others saw in the program when he got it to their highest level. So I don't know, that's one conversation. And then the conversation about the fourth quarter and overtime and all of that you mentioned there, that's a different thing. Like that's unique to Nebraska in this spot, and it's a different challenge. That's not, it's related, but it's not the same as what he dealt with at the other stops for him in college.
How do you feel like it's playing right now? Where the general line, the through line from the coaches that have spoken this week is like, I mean, Dylan Raiola is not shaken by anything. Like, Dylan Raiola is all these things, and he's approaching these things with the way that you're supposed to do it. And it's not a Dylan Raiola problem, right? Like it's had this vibe since the first or second week of the season of like, oh yeah, this guy is, I mean, ever since Rule actually said it out loud, yeah, Dylan's kind of ahead of everybody else on that offense. How do you feel like that is kind of playing with, whether it's the fans or I don't know about the team, but I find it interesting that they're sort of like, framing it up that way as far as how the team's performing right now.
Yeah, I don't think it's a problem with the team because he's actually doing it. Like, it's not as if the coaches are putting him on a pedestal and you can't see what they're talking about. Like, he's got the numbers and the performance to back it up. And hey, he's thrown 2 interceptions, but both of those balls have been taken out of his receiver's hands. And there was a third one where his receiver took the ball out of an opponent's hands. So those can go both ways, and they have for Dylan. But 8 touchdowns, completing 74% of his throws. It's hard to argue with the way that he's playing. So I think that it's maybe a little eye-opening to hear the coaches continue to, like what Tony White said yesterday about we can't let this freshman quarterback carry us. Like, we need to be better as a defense and support him. Like that on its face, if you just heard that in July or August, you'd be like, whoa. And same thing with some of the stuff that Rule has said about him, but he's performed well enough to receive that kind of praise.
All right, Mitch. We'll let you go. Appreciate the time as always. Good to chat, and we'll talk to you next week.
All right. Thanks, Connor.
Mitch Sherman of The Athletic. If you want more extended conversations, you could listen to a podcast that has both of us on it.
Oh, because just any podcast?
Nope, not any podcast. Not any podcast has us two. Just one. Or this show podcasted. So it's two, I suppose. All right, we'll come back. The odd news is on the other side. Josh has it on the Connor Happer Show in 1620 The Zone.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
right, don't forget to get your questions in for the tweet bag, which is coming up here in a mere moments.
ZZ Top tickets.
I heard Jimmy Carter loved them. Loves them.
His favorite babe.
When he's awake. Almost a happy birthday to Jimmy.
Almost. You can't do these things beforehand.
Nope. Who'd we do that to?
Betty White.
It's a shame. So get your questions in. We will open that thing up in just a few minutes. Josh, what do we have today in the odd news?
Yesterday we got a little spicy by bringing up Donald Trump.
Yeah,
just
now
opining.
we have to talk about Kamala.
No, I did think about it though. Just opining.
Equal time, Josh.
Yeah, about where Johnny Carson might be. We're gonna get political again, though, not specifically related to Kamala Harris, but the tensions between America and Russia.
I have no opinions.
Okay, seemed like a slam dunk for you. But
I didn't take it.
America has wrestled away a world record from those dirty, dirty Russians.
Oh, I have opinions on that.
Okay. We go to Lowville, New York.
All right. I love New York.
Where at an annual cream cheese festival, the
Whoa. Do not skip by that. That sounds awesome.
Well,
I love cream cheese. I'd like to be very clear. I love cream cheese.
You're going to love this then. The fine folks at Kraft Heinz, who make Philadelphia cream cheese, they have a plant in Lowville, which is not in Philadelphia, but they set the record for the world's largest cheesecake at the festival in 2013. It was taken from them in 2017 by a team from Russia who made a 9,347-pound cheesecake.
Big cheesecake.
The fine folks in Lowville have taken that record back with a cheesecake weighing in at 15,008 pounds.
That's a big cheesecake, Josh.
Big cheesecake.
So my problem with big, like we've seen big pizza.
Sure.
We've seen now big cheesecake. We've seen big cake. We've seen big cookie.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen many big versions of regular size things. The problem with it is that there's no way it's ever good. How do you cook it?
Right. You can't cook it evenly.
Right. It just doesn't work that way unless you individually, slam together 5,000 already cooked cheesecakes or whatever.
Right.
You just can't do it. I don't know how you cook it in the first place.
But you want to be a part of something.
But I'm
right?
concerned. But I also want it to be good.
Right.
So people see big cheesecake and their eyes get big, and I'm like, that just doesn't really appeal to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing with Big Burger.
Yeah.
Everybody always has Big Burger, and I'm like, that doesn't look good.
The meat is questionable.
Yeah,
right?
I don't want to eat Big Burger.
I'm sure they've thought of it and done the research and figured it out. But to me, just dumb guy on the street walking up to Big Burger, I'm like,
I don't want Big
pass.
Burger. I want regular burger.
Yeah. Derek Langdon, quality manager at Kraft Heinz, said he and his team decided to smash the record. If you're going to beat it, might as well go big, he told a local TV station. We decided we're going to smash that record, make it almost twice as big as the last one. And if the Russians are going to beat it, they'd have to go really big.
Yeah.
Smart.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Shout out to cream cheese, though.
What's your thoughts on beer? I know you've been wishy-washy as of late. The audience is concerned.
Depends.
Okay.
Tell me more.
A man chugging beer in all 650 parliamentary constituencies.
Chugging beer.
In the UK. A man is on a mission to chug a pint of beer in each of the country's parliamentary constituencies to highlight issues with the tax on food and drinks in the pubs. They love and hate their taxes over in the UK.
Yeah.
Jay Chan, a former staffer for a member of parliament from Birmingham, England, has gone to 16 different constituencies.
And chugged a beer?
Yes. He has.
It doesn't even sound that cool.
He has 634 to go. I'm sure he won't get tired of this.
Yeah. I was amazed by the people that show up at like Warner Park over the summer and is like, I made it. we came up with this idea this summer to go to every minor league ballpark. I'm like, you did? How's it going? They're like, yeah, we're on 14. I'm like, all right, have fun.
Okay.
Just passing through. Like, all right, have fun. I don't think you have enough days in the summer to actually accomplish this feat, but good luck.
Jay started noticing that the local pubs were struggling, and he decided he wanted to help them. He visited Nottingham and downed 2 pints at a bar called Ye Old Trip to Jerusalem. Okay, kind of a weird name for a bar.
Yep.
And everyone cheered. So
they cheered when he drank a beer. Man drinks beer and people say yay.
So
that's
he said,
the story.
I would like to feel this feeling every night. And
It is cool. I like
yeah.
watching dudes chug beer.
Mm-hmm.
I like dude goes on the big screen. He's like this huge dude and he's got a beer and people are like, yeah, he's going to chug it. And then he does. I'll cheer for that. I'm in on that.
He says the journey could take 20 years and it could cost more than $4,000 in drinks alone.
Great. We'll check back.
The 18-year-old has started a GoFundMe, which has so far raised about $2,600.
I'm sure.
For the cause of a beer crawl.
Yeah.
There's something vaguely related to taxes in there. I'm not sure what.
Whatever.
Kind of a long read.
This guy will never finish this and we'll never hear about it again.
Nah,
but nice job.
Never. And finally, Connor, we go to a new country. That's right. We're still making countries.
Yugoslavia.
No, newer than Yugoslavia. Have you ever heard of the sovereign state of the Bektashi Order?
I haven't.
Okay.
That is a new country.
But if all goes to plan, it will soon become the world's smallest microstate. It is essentially a Muslim version of the Vatican City, but about a quarter of the size of Vatican City. Vatican City, smallest country in the world. Albanian prime minister plans to transform this plot of land into a sovereign state to promote moderation, tolerance, and peaceful coexistence. And I'm going to need you.
This is like if the Trump barn guy said his farm was a country.
It's a sovereign state.
Yeah,
you can't tell me what to do.
Yeah,
the 10-hectare patch of land. You might need to look up what a hectare is. Hectare. In Albania's capital will have its own passport, borders, and administration governing issues.
1 hectare is almost 2.5 acres.
Okay, so this is 10 hectares.
So what's that, 25 acres?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. They are excited at the opportunity of being the smallest country in the world. If the plans go ahead, it will be ruled theoretically in a system similar to that of the Vatican, the headquarters of the Roman Catholic Church, of course. The Vatican is headed by a pope, so they would need a pope-like figure at the top, which would also...
Trump barn guy.
You would need a Pope mobile?
Yep. Well, not necessarily. The Pope can drive whatever he wants. He could drive I
don't think the Pope drives.
Well, I mean, he could, but this is a new country, right? You're making up your own rules as you go. So this guy can, take one of those scooters that you have downtown. He could be like, that's my Pope mobile.
Obviously, the person in the Muslim religion would not be referred to as Pope. He would be referred to as Baba Mandi.
That's cool.
Yeah, the citizenship of the state would be limited to members of the clergy and people working in the administration.
Dope.
Yeah.
Guy had a wild hair and was like, let's do this thing.
We need to do it. Let's just not talk about it. We've been talking about it for years. Let's do it.
Sure. Who's to stop you?
Yeah.
Apparently nobody.
No.
Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Connor.
That's the odd news. Still a chance to get your questions in for the tweet bag. We have a few. We could use a few more. ZZ Top tickets are on the line. Coming up on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
This is the Tweet Bag. You send your questions in and we answer them. Like no other radio segment ever. It's the Tweet Bag on the Connor Happer Show.
That's right. The very unique segment known as the Tweet Bag is on the air. Get in your questions at Happer Show on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed. You can leave a comment on YouTube. We'll get to those. And if you send a text, I will get to those as well.
It's still a tweet. It's all tweeting.
Yeah. But Josh doesn't have the text line. So just know that when you text into the show at 951-1620, that they'll only be seen by, as far as this show is concerned, my eyes. So
Yeah, I don't
just
know what
note that.
happened. I don't know what happened.
Just note that when you send your text. Josh, what do we got today?
Let's begin with an email from Chris.
Hello, Chris.
What is the worst combination of pro and college teams that someone can be a fan of?
Oh, boy, this is good.
Lakers, Cowboys, Yankees is an example.
Lakers,
that comes
Cowboys,
to
Yankees
mind.
is the classic.
Yes.
I mean,
personally for me.
by the way, doesn't Josh Peterson have 2/3 of that cooked?
Yes, he does.
Interesting. Interesting.
Personally, for me, it's someone that's a fan of most teams in a city besides one or two. So, like, yeah, I like the Pirates, the Penguins, but I hate the Steelers, or something like that.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard for us here because all of our professional sports teams aren't here, and so chances are you've just cherry picked whatever you latched onto as a kid. Like you didn't.
That's right.
You didn't pick a city and decide that you were going to be black and yellow, black. Like you didn't. I love all Pittsburgh teams. Maybe you did, but it's less likely that you did. So I would say my answer to that question, Josh, would be it's whichever hot team is out. Like regardless of if they could be a fan of them for forever, and I'm just angry. Like. I've never heard that you liked the Padres until 2 years ago. When did this start?
Oh, now you're a Padres.
Yeah, now you're being really forthcoming, and that or like Heat fans. Who's a Heat fan?
Heat fans are.
I don't like Heat fans.
Yeah,
I know Gary's a Heat fan. He lived in Florida.
Gary's sort of the exception that proves the rule with Heat fans.
I don't think I like Heat fans.
They just act a different way.
Yeah.
Out of pocket.
I'm not sure that I trust a Heat fan.
Why are you this confident when you've done very little without LeBron James and Dwayne Wade?
100%.
Yeah.
Because it's Heat culture.
It's right there on the court.
But that's what we're saying.
Yeah.
Like Heat culture just took over.
Yeah.
You never know about those Heat.
It's Jimmy Butler being literally dehydrated in the bubble finals.
Who else? Who would be the MLB version of that right now? Probably like I don't bump into many. I mean, the Astros thing kind of probably died. They went through some issues.
I think you'll agree with this. There's two kinds of Yankees fans. There's old guys who are like, yeah, my dad liked the Yankees. I like the Yankees. And then there's 27 World Championships.
Yeah.
Yankees guy.
Yeah, those guys are cool though. I like those guys because they're New Yorkers. And they don't care about anything else but the Yankees.
Would you like to discuss some of the aspects of the Yankees? No. 27.
Yeah, we won 27 World Championships.
If you don't have 27, you can't talk.
Exactly.
Would you like to talk about like Aaron Judge versus Bobby Witt and the nuances of the argument? 27.
No, those guys are cool, but you can't reason with them, and you know it.
Yeah.
So you just have to either steer clear or just egg them on. I like those guys. Red Sox fans. I pretty much immediately don't trust you if you're a Red Sox fan.
Isn't Josh Peterson a Red Sox fan?
He claims to like many MLB teams, for the record.
I think he's in between.
Yeah, so he's got a pretty bad track record, if we're being honest.
Of just liking teams?
Well, I mean, Lakers, Cowboys, and then he was a Red Sox fan, but now he's a Mariners/Royals fan.
Yeah.
That's a little off-putting. A little
bit.
What's the NFL version of it? I was always pretty skeptical of the Bucks fans a couple years ago when they started to pop up. It's like, really?
TB12.
Yeah. So I didn't answer the question in terms of like the combo,
Mhm.
although I think Chris kind of nailed it with the Lakers, Yankees, Cowboys thing.
Probably.
But there are definitely some pet peeves that I have for sure, or some skepticisms. Next.
I was so involved in the question, I didn't think of like looking up the next question and being
That's
ready
okay.
for the segment that we're doing on the air. Charles comments in.
Go to Charles.
If you had to eat Big Burger, what cheese would you put on it?
I wouldn't eat Big Burger. If it has more than 2 patties on it, forget about it.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Good
I'm out.
bar.
If it's got more than 2, if it's got more than top bun, bottom bun on it,
Yeah.
I'm pretty much out. And that includes Big Mac.
Yeah.
Big Mac, just take that 3rd bun out. You don't need it.
Structurally, if you need a 3rd piece of bread and I love bread. Don't get me wrong.
I love bread. We're fat guys. We love bread.
Yeah. Couldn't quit it. The doctor says I should, and I've told him, no, doc, I will not.
I love gluten.
I'd rather die.
It's amazing. But you don't need all of that.
No.
You just don't.
It's excessive.
At a certain, so maybe the question is here, I'm going to alter this. At which point does the burger become excessive?
Okay.
I say maximum of 2 patties, maximum of 2 buns, and if the presence of any other topping than lettuce, onion, tomato, whatever, you like all the regular toppings.
Sure.
Like you could throw an onion ring on there. I'm not going to be offended. But all of a sudden, if you're starting to stack stuff up, it's like we put a pork tenderloin on this burger. Why? We put a piece of fried chicken on here. You don't need it.
No, you really don't.
We put a donut on here. In fact, the donut is the bun.
The buns.
Stupid. Excessive. So my bar is low
They got
on excessive Big Burger. But to answer the question, probably Swiss.
How okay. How big can the patty be? Like pre-cooked patty weight?
The patty.
I mean, the total weight can't be over a pound, right?
Yeah, like
even under would be preferred.
If the patty is thick, then you don't need more than 1 patty.
Yeah, right. Agree.
So I like a thin burger. More.
Oh, okay.
What do they call those?
Smash burger?
Smash
like
burger,
a crispy edge?
Yeah. I like those.
Not getting that on Big Burger.
No, because they're like big, everything big. Let's put 6 miles of stuff on here that we don't need. You know what would be really cool if we tweeted out a picture of a Bloody Mary and we put a burger on a stick and put it on top of the Bloody Mary. It's like, no, it's not a Bloody Mary. You're just serving me a burger and a Bloody Mary, which is fine, but there's no need to put it on top of the Bloody Mary.
You could put the Bloody Mary right next to the burger and you have yourself a whole meal right there.
Headley says that pepper jack is always a solid choice. I agree. I usually have pepper jack in my refrigerator.
Great take. We put a metric ton of fondue in the burger. No, you don't have to do less, as the kids say.
Yeah.
Question from Sal on YouTube.
Hi, Sal.
Do you prefer the bread clip or the bread twisty tie to close your bread bag?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I prefer the clip. It's easier. The you're talking about the little thing with the half hole in it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that. I prefer that.
I do prefer that as well. Twisty tie, sometimes you have to go
it's just too
counterclockwise, and then all of a sudden you find yourself needing to go the opposite way.
Well, and then you're twisting it a whole bunch, and then the next time you get out the bread, you're like, why did I twist it this much? And which way is it twisted? I prefer the clippy.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I get so lazy though that I just fold the bag over the rest of the bread and I put it on top of it.
Towards the end, I'll do that.
I usually do that with my bag of chips too.
Sal chimes in response. I find the clip breaks a lot.
You're maybe being a little too rough with your clips.
Yeah, Sal, how jacked are you?
Yeah. All right, we get it. You're strong.
Sweet brag, bro.
Headley and Charles are both saying that they're with me on the fold over method. Is that bad? How does that reflect on me as a human being?
So I don't think it reflects poorly on you. I believe the amount of people coming to your side reflects poorly on America. We're a little lazy. I'm with you. I do it too. But could we just
Maybe we do it
agree-
in the absence of the clip. Maybe the clip has disappeared. It's flown away.
I just feel like we would not survive the things our parents and grandparents survived.
No, they had to make their own bread. No, they went to the store and got bread, just like us. So you're saying that my parents and grandparents never folded over the bread bag? They always put the clip on there? I find that hard to believe, Josh.
I'm just saying there was the threat of corporal punishment back then that does not exist today.
That's true. They could just beat them.
I can't smack my kid with a ruler
No.
because he folded the bread bag
No,
over.
no.
He can do whatever he wants. He's untethered. Sal comments on these more yoked than jacked.
Interesting. That would
Headley.
explain the clip situation.
Or we have better things to do, Josh.
Better things to do than to take 1 extra second and put the clip on the bag of bread.
That's right.
It's great. I got some text lines if you want them.
Please, yes.
All right. This is from Jesse, but he says it's for his son, Lee. So this is Lee.
Hi, Lee.
It's his second tweet back question and got a huge kick out of it the first time. What is the best and worst Halloween costumes you've ever seen personally?
Ooh.
Boy. Like, the Halloween costumes change some. You have your staples, right? But the ones that always stand out on a year-to-year basis is the topical things.
Right.
You know, like the really specifically topical stuff.
Mm-hmm. Like the one year. Like,
Everyone was Ken Bone.
Everyone was Ken Bone.
Everyone was Ken Bone that one year. I saw hot Ken Bone. There was sexy Ken Bone.
I want to be a slutty Ken Bone.
Slutty Ken Bone. Yeah. That was everywhere.
It's impossible.
There were so
what
many
you've
different
done.
versions of Ken Bone.
I
like that year where everybody
Oh.
was Ken Bone.
Okay, here. I just roamed through a Halloween store. We'll keep the name out. No free plugs.
All right.
Sent Connor a picture of the Hawk Tua section
Yeah,
at the
that's
Halloween
bad.
store.
That's bad. Once again, repeat that, Josh. The Hawk Tua section.
That's right. Not the Hawk Tua costume at the Halloween store. The Hawk Tua section at the Halloween store.
Texter might or Headley might have you beat here on YouTube.
Hi, Headley.
I once saw a guy driving around in a white van offering children candy.
Oh, no, Headley. I think you saw something else.
That's just a really bad Halloween costume.
That's
it's a joke.
That's a crime.
It's a joke. It's a joke. It's Halloween. It's what I am for Halloween. A pedophile.
It's a bit. Your Honor, it was a bit.
You think that holds up?
Couldn't possibly.
I don't think so either. I was a crayon once.
Nice.
I was a yellow crayon.
I was Wilson from the hit television show Home Improvement one year.
I thought you were going to say Wilson the volleyball from
No,
Castaway,
no, that
the
would've been a
hit
good
Tom
one.
Hanks movie where he doesn't fly the plane, but he's a passenger on plane
There is-
wreckage.
Dan, Tennessee Titans.
The Tennessee Titans are mentioned in that
Yes,
movie.
that's right.
Yes, that's true. All right, Michael.
Hi, Michael.
This one's I haven't screened these.
That's okay.
So they're just coming in.
Anything goes. That's how we bill it.
Connor, being a new father, eventually your kid will only eat kid type of foods that you find absolutely disgusting. Like for me, it's SpaghettiOs. I want to gag every time I even eat a spoonful of SpaghettiOs.
Great take, Michael. Those are they are foul smelling.
However,
the stench.
Michael says, I recently rediscovered my love of Chef Boyardee raviolis and became so enamored with them I could almost eat them like a can of cold beans. So what kid food do you think you could find yourself falling back in love with? I could definitely see myself eating a cold ravioli from a can.
Yeah.
I could see that. I can see myself eating smiley face French fries, apple slices. Your kid had apple slices the other night.
Yeah.
I was like, you didn't get fries? And he was like, no, I got apple slices.
They give you two sides with the Happy Meal. You can have 2 fries or you can have fries and apple slices.
What about the
we forced the apple slices on him because we're good parents.
He was eating them.
Yeah.
Ants on a log.
Oh yeah, sure.
I never actually I don't think I had that very much, but I knew they existed.
Headley's got the right idea here on YouTube. Dinosaur chicken nuggets. I'm 36 and they are still the best. Headley, I am 39 and I still pluck the occasional one off my child's plate when he's not looking.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be happening. Yeah. I'm a bit of a I'm a bit of a human garbage can when it's like if
that's your job as a father.
If nobody is eating the food, I'm
Mhm.
like, you won't. I'm interested. I'll try.
It's going to go to waste. I have to eat this.
Yeah.
And that is your job.
Yeah, that'll be happening. That'll be happening. I don't know what I envision myself falling back in love with. I don't know what the kids are eating these days.
Kids love
ketchup. I can tell you that I won't like ketchup.
Uncrustables. The kids are big on Uncrustables.
I'm already in love.
My child has fallen in love with Lunchables this back to school season.
Already still in love.
Yep.
So yeah, no changes really in that regard. Here's a text from the 712.
Hi, 712.
It's out of the great state of Iowa. I've seen a bunch of people online crying this week.
Well, Nebraska lost. Okay, that's what we do.
You know the type. They peaked in high school and blame everything on coaching. I'm not sure that Nebraska was out-coached Friday. Coaches had them in position to win multiple times. Multiple personal fouls, missed touchdown pass, missed chip shot, field goal, terrible punt coverage. The list of execution errors is too long. How could that be put on the coaches? Your take?
Oh, that is what we're talking about.
This is a tweet bag question, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely.
Your take is absolutely?
Absolutely. Correct. You are correct, 712.
Yeah, I
execution was flawed. Conditioning was suspect.
I found it odd that, well, I should say I ongoingly find it odd that people automatically just go to, well, they just got out coached.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if they hit the pass,
boom, problem solved.
Number one, we're not talking about who's getting out coached.
Matt Rule's a genius for having the balls to go to Lindemeyer at the end of the game.
Specifically, Satterfield, the guy who gets wrecked after every time they lose. You know, we had the seeds of this topic during a break earlier, Josh. I'll plant the seeds right now because we'll talk about this probably tomorrow.
Test market it.
The loss that Nebraska had clouded everything. Dylan Raiola should be the topic this week. Dylan Raiola is incredible. Why don't we celebrate him like an NFL team fan base would if they just got Patrick Mahomes? If they just realized that they are going to have a franchise quarterback. It's not as long term. It's not the next 15 years of our lives, but it's at least the next 3. And I'm excited about that. I think we should be having a parade because we've come to realize that Dylan Raiola is that guy.
There are radio shows in Cincinnati right now doing this exact same thing. Guys, we have a quarterback. Let's talk about that and not our crappy defense and how we're 0-3.
Yeah, but they're 0-3.
Yeah.
And they have a crappy defense for sure. Nebraska only sometimes have a crappy defense and they're not 0-3. They're 3-1, Josh.
That's good.
Text from the 843.
Hi, 843.
Do either of you want to live to 100 years old?
Ooh,
as of right now, as a 32-year-old, that sounds awesome. As a 32-year-old, my answer to this question is I'd like to live as long as possible.
Mm-hmm.
As long as possible. That is my stock answer for the foreseeable future.
As a 39-year-old and I wake up and why does my hip hurt? I can't imagine doing that for 60 more years. I was you when I was 32, but now I'm slowly turning that corner.
Now you're saying no.
I don't think I want that.
Oh man,
life comes at you quick, Connor, and it's because of what you did this summer. Have a child.
Man, you guys are sad. I don't think that's going to happen to me.
It ages you horribly. It's like being president, where it just ages you horribly.
Here's Yippee.
Hi, Yippee.
Has Happer answered to the fact that he untethered an entire fan base just to have them get kicked in the nards?
No, he has not paid for those sins.
What do I have to pay? I still believe it. You know, rehab yourself just like Christian Bale did in Batman Dark Knight Rises. Do some sit-ups and then climb back up that wall. Unfortunately, if you were untethered before, you have died because of the fall back into the gulag. But, you know, in this case, it's only metaphorical death.
Purify yourself in the waters of Lake Minnetonka.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's all right, guys. You're still with us. They lost.
Mm-hmm.
They're still better than they were last year.
They weren't going to run the table.
Text from 402. Tweet bag, pumpkin patch or no pumpkin patch?
No pumpkin patch.
Actually, that's from RJ.
Hi, RJ. Thank you for the question.
I say pumpkin patch.
Really?
Yeah, once a year, pumpkin patch.
I didn't know that about you. I thought you were no patch.
I'm festive.
Okay. You love food, love fun, love fall.
Uh-huh. Specifically that pumpkin patch.
SEAL Team Nick would like to remind everyone that Batman did fall the first time.
He did. He was tethered, though. And that's what saved him. So I don't know if if that rope really helped him.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah. He did. He did fall, but he was tethered.
That tracks.
Texter has a this appears to be the first text from this texter. Welcome, new texter.
Wow, welcome.
To the food that you're going to get back into now that you have a kid and they're going to start eating food.
Uh-huh.
This is actually the leader in the clubhouse.
Whoa.
Fish sticks. I could see myself eating fish sticks.
I think the kind we buy for our child are not the best. They smell.
You think there's higher quality fish sticks out there?
Absolutely. I know the way.
Are you skimping on fish sticks?
I know the way my wife grocery shops. Yes. Yes.
Really? You're getting store brand fish sticks?
Uh-huh.
Come on, get the big brand, whatever that is.
They smell. I can't get them hot.
What's the biggest brand of fish sticks? You microwave them? Put them in the oven. Put them in the oven.
I don't.
Put them in the air fryer.
No, I don't have that kind of time. It's my child. He'll eat whatever.
Oh my God. You're not getting that's why
just dunking them in ketchup anyway, Connor.
Biggest brand.
It's Vandy Camps, right?
Fish sticks.
Or the kind with the sailor and the yellow
13
jacket.
frozen fish stick brands ranked.
Oh, let's go.
All right, let's go. Let's skip ahead to number one here. Number one, 365 by Whole Foods. I'm not going to Whole Foods to get my fish sticks. That's for sure.
What do you think? I'm made of money?
Mrs. Paul's crunchy breaded fish sticks.
Gorton. That was the kind with the fisherman.
Gorton's is number 3.
Okay.
I don't think I was a Gorton's guy.
No, we were a Vandy Camps family.
Vandy Camps is 4.
Okay.
Trident is 5. Starfish is 6. And that's as far as I'll go. That's as far as I feel like I need to go.
Okay. Okay.
Not
a
text.
The fine folks at Budweiser make a fish stick. That's really nice.
Budweiser.
Mm-hmm.
Microwave fish sticks and room temperature Boyardee. I'm going to go vomit now, Alex says.
Charles accusing my house of being a gulag.
Josh, microwave fish sticks. I mean, that's insane.
He likes them.
Well, what do they smell like? What is it?
Fish.
See, you could avoid this by simply cooking them in a different manner.
I don't want to put fish in my air fryer.
Dude, it's like 5 minutes. Just chuck them in there.
No, I know it's 6 minutes.
Yeah.
I know how to
How
cook.
How long do you do it in the microwave? 3?
30 flip 30.
Okay. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good deal.
Right.
I'm not microwaving no fish sticks. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Not happening in my house.
I understand.
I'm a principled man. And
you're going to call into a radio station and go, how many sticks can I fish in the microwave?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Congratulations to somebody. Oh, by the way, we didn't get to this one from Bill Brasky.
To Bill Brasky.
Bill Brasky. You find out. We'll ask the question who he's talking about. A little off-putting, like the sound of his voice on the radio. My God, he sounds like a screech owl at times. Who's he talking about?
No, it is time-stamped 12:07.
Yeah, what were we talking about at 12:07? Oh, Josh. He's talking about Josh.
Oh, okay.
I thought this was going to be about me.
I assumed it was about me. Look at us all feeling guilty.
Personal responsibility.
That's right.
That's perfect. Somebody's going to get a DM or a text later on in the afternoon about how they won ZZ Top tickets, and they're going to be really happy about it.
And you're going to go and you're going to buy beer and concessions and have a great time. And you're going to say, hello, Jimmy Carter, President Carter, excuse me. Happy birthday.
And then we'll make them record a thing, and we'll do the old FM radio thing, and we'll say, tell us which station made you a winner. And you'll say, 1620 the zone. I play the team back, the Connor Happer Show. Good bag, everybody.
Could be you. Listen to it on 1620 The Zone. Tune in and rip the knob off.
Speaking of bad food, Mr. Yogurt spoke last night. We'll get to that on the other side on 1620 The Zone. Robin Washut's going to join us at the top of the hour. We'll talk some football with him.
Some ball.
Maybe some basketball as well.
There are many stars related to the Nebraska basketball team today.
Stars? What do you mean?
Fred Hoiberg is looking at a 5-star today.
Oh, really?
Kicking the tires on a 5-star.
Wow. Let's get some of those.
Spoiler alert for the Robin Washut segment.
We're probably not going to ask about it.
Oh, no.
Well, Basketball recruiting, Josh.
What-
Even I'm not that sick.
You gonna ask him about the New York Giants?
Yes, I'd rather.
Kind of.
I kind of think they're going to beat the Cowboys this week.
Kind of curious what he thinks.
Let's go to Troy Dannen from last night.
Yogurt man.
First, the quote. This is about Friday Night Football at Memorial Stadium, which seemed to go pretty well, right? Yes, they had to cancel classes. Great for the students.
They loved it.
I think they loved it. I think the university low-key loved it too.
Mhm.
Sold out crowd. More than 4 million people watched on TV. I think it was a good showcase for the university. You did the drone show, the light show. You just transported everything from that you'd normally do on Saturday over to Friday. I'd call that a success. He said this, quote, I sent a letter to the Big Ten commissioner with the blessing of the university president and chancellor formally requesting to not host Friday night games outside of Thanksgiving every other year, the game with Iowa. Just because of the size of the stadium and locale, I don't think we want to be canceling in-person classes. I'm sure the students don't mind, but at the end of the day, the more we can avoid that, I think the better off everybody will be. So if it happens again, it happens again. I don't like seeing other athletic directors in the league saying, by golly, we will not do that and laying their foot down. I'm not sure any institution should have the unilateral ability to do that. But if I do, I raised my hands with the commissioner and said Nebraska should be in that same position with 90,000 fans in the proximity we have to campus. So I think the reasoning for it is a little bit more the latter than it is the former, Josh.
Yeah.
Which is, hey, look, if Ohio State and Michigan, like if we really don't want to do this and it's I hear about it enough from the fan base, maybe it's not even that you don't want to do it. It's just that the other bigwigs in the conference have flexed their ability to say, no, thank you to this. The Big Ten has listened, and Nebraska wants to appear as if it's one of the big boys as well in the conference, and its fans are asking them questions that he can go back to them and say, look, I told them that we don't want to do this. I can't control whether they give it to us or not.
That's always been what this has felt like to me, is Nebraska wanting to say, well,
a big measuring contest.
No, yeah. Well, we're a big brand. We're a big to do. We'd like to be doing the same things the other big to do. It makes us feel small time.
Well, what if, like, so I guess I can't tell if they actually like it or they don't, or if this is all just posturing.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
It went well.
Did it not go well?
It was executed nice. I think Nebraska and Illinois would have been lost in a college football Saturday.
I think it's mildly annoying, but the most you're going to get is one Friday home game every 3 years outside of your Black Friday game.
Yeah.
They're not going to give you one. They're not going to give you 2 in a season. They're not going to give you 4 in a, like, this is a one-off every 3 years. The next time Nebraska would probably do this would be 2026 or 7.
Yeah.
Like that's far away.
Mitch brought it up, and I think it's a great point that this, and I didn't think about it. I'm sure everyone else thought about it before me, that this feels like, well, I asked, what more can I do?
Yeah.
You told me you didn't want it. I asked.
I think,
sorry, we're still getting it.
Moreover, I mean, Ohio State, Penn State, they've had these excuses for a long time. They call them, I always forget the word. What do they call them?
You can't say that on the radio, Connor. It's bull bleep.
Yeah, it is. Allowances, I think is what they call them. Like, it's basically, hey, here's a totally reasonable reason why we can't do this. In fact, it's in Ohio State's is like its proximity to the hospital or something like that, and Michigan's is something else, and Penn State's is something else, and whatever. It's all fake. You could do it. We've proven this over and over again. If Penn State really, really wanted a football game to happen like tomorrow, and it was in the they could do it. You know what I mean? They could pick up all the pieces and do it. And guess what? People would still go to it. It's the same thing with Nebraska. If Nebraska made some sort of wacko announcement right now that they were going to play mid-Tennessee State tomorrow, you know how many people would be there? 85,000.
All of them.
You know how much it would be staffed? The whole thing. It would feel just like a Saturday. They could do that. So it's all fake. So I wonder if the Big Ten is just going to start saying, Nope. Sorry. No more allowances, guys. And I hope that Nebraska, because it's been proven that they can do it, gets thrown under the bus and they have to do it where Ohio State and Penn State don't have to do it. Like, right? I hope that if Nebraska has to do it, then everybody has to do it. But that one's to be determined.
Hurtin' Husker fan, very interesting comment on YouTube.
Hi, Hurtin' Husker fan.
I'm surprised to hear you guys keep echoing it went well. I don't know a single fan I've talked to that's in favor. That's not being sarcastic. I also think it contributed to the lack of enthusiasm in with the players and fans in the stadium.
Okay, now, two things. Players, fans, different things. Fans, I did not see a lack of enthusiasm at all. Let's be very clear about that. I thought
on TV it seemed relatively normal.
I thought it was, and I did my normal thing that I would normally do on a Saturday. I went down to the field pregame.
You're walking around.
I went down to the field at the end of the football game, and the only thing that I noticed that was different was that fans were in their seats later.
Okay. Because the whole day was compact.
I looked around with about 45 minutes prior to game time, and I thought there'd probably usually be more people in the stands by now.
Okay.
I don't think it had any effect on the game whatsoever, as far as the fans are concerned.
But they were there by kickoff?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it was full. As far as the players, putting their lack of edge on the fact that it was a Friday night is just BS. As far as I'm concerned. It's just not.
I think you could
It's
probably
just BS. Like, it's just an excuse.
Tell a bunch of kids, hey, you're playing on Friday night,
yeah,
on national TV, and they'll be like, yeah, okay, fine, sure,
yeah,
thanks.
It's a night game. There's a lot of people there. It's an important game. I don't frankly think there is an excuse for Nebraska, but if we're to try to get to the bottom of why, I think it's because they thought they were good and got punched in the mouth and didn't respond right. Simple as that. Not having anything to do with Friday night. So yeah, I don't know. That's not what I saw. At the same time, I don't sit in section 34, so I don't know.
Sure, everyone's experience is going to be different for sure.
Yeah, I'm not saying that I liked it and I want to do Friday night games all the time.
No,
I'm saying that for the league, a lot of people watched it on TV, and it seemed like it was a normal game with a normal environment, with normal things and all the normal people that you regularly see on game day, with all the vendors and and whatever.
For consecutive sellout number 400 for. Okay, Illinois won the football game, but they are an unexciting opponent. Yes, like, is that fair?
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
okay,
You're not talking junk on them,
right? It jazzed up a Nebraska Illinois game, which to most people could be a little meh, and I think it did what it was intended to do.
I tend to agree
for the fans.
One more on the environment and the, I don't know, worries that people have, right? Let's go back to this. Remember over the summer, cashless concessions?
Oh, it was the drama of our time.
Troy Dannon said last night in the Huskers radio network that Nebraska averaged $375,000 a game in concessions from a revenue perspective last year. Yes. He says this year, through their 4 home games so far, it is closer to $900,000 a game.
They've already tripled last year's.
Not quite tripled, but
take
more than doubled per game.
Did they?
No. Like, well, just to be very clear, average per game. $375,000 last year. Currently, this year, closer to $900,000.
Did they double the price of things, of concessions?
Not that I know of, Josh.
Okay, I don't know. I'm not in the stadium.
Mr. Yogurt said that it went smoother than expected in the first 4 games, and they more than doubled their money per game in concessions.
Sell beer.
So much consternation. And I don't know, maybe you're waiting in line longer, but they're making more than double the money. I find it hard to believe that you're sitting in line longer and they're making double the money. There's got to be a quick return rate on all that stuff.
It's almost
right?
like it's quicker to
It's-
just
yeah,
tap your
It's
credit
almost like they're
card
churning stuff in and out.
Then $12. Okay, here's 12. Here's a 20. Okay.
Oh, and those poor hawkers. Those poor hawkers.
Well, somebody think of the hawkers who were clearly pocketing money.
Exactly, Josh. I'm not accusing anything of anybody of anything here.
Right.
But my God.
Just how could it not?
So I don't know. Maybe that was all nothing, Josh. Maybe. Just maybe. Michael writes in on the text line.
Hi, Michael.
I think having vendors walking around being able to take cards has helped a lot and makes it go really quick. At the Colorado game, literally walked up to a vendor, got a runza, and walked away in under a minute. I don't know what the difference in that would be compared to a cash transaction, but yeah. Turns out it actually wasn't that hard and we adjusted pretty well. Much like playing a football game on a Friday night. Texter from the 402 writes in.
Hi, 402.
The bars in downtown Lincoln do not like Friday night games for sure. Was it dead down there after the game or before the game?
Well, you don't have the pregame time, right?
I don't know. Who's going to O Street? Kids.
Well, if
guess who doesn't have to go to school on Friday if there's a Friday night game? Kids.
Sure.
I don't know. I don't know many 40-year-olds going up O Street.
If you're a businessman and
sure,
you're working Friday.
Of course. And so like we said before, I think Dannon's got to say some of this stuff to have his cities back and to have the athletic departments back.
So you're saying he puts on for his city?
I'm saying he's like young Jeezy in that way. Exactly. One more thing that Mr. Dannon had to say. We'll get to that.
Gosh, he said so many things.
After the break on the Connor Happer Show, 1620 The Zone.
He gives you the latest sports news, interviews, and life-changing commentary with a smile on his face. Because he wears those ticklish underpants.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Well, as we said earlier, and as you well know, Memorial Stadium is a bit of a black hole in terms of cell service and Wi-Fi, and for its own players, where it's wearing scarlet and cream. No. But the first couple parts. You ever tried to send a text inside Memorial Stadium, and then you get outside the stadium and you realize that it just sent and it didn't apply anymore because you sent it 3.5 hours ago? Everybody has. Raise your hand. Everybody raises their hand in the chat. Can I get some hand raises in the chat?
Why'd you text me? I don't think we're going to win.
The game ended 2 hours ago. Or, you try to upload a tweet. You do a tweet.
Oh, yeah.
It's very difficult. Troy Dannon was asked to comment about this last night on the Huskers Radio Network. We have some video for you, so this is courtesy of the network. Good to see Greg Sharp, by the way, doing this interview. Oh, yeah. And he had these things to say. Listen closely. You never know what you might hear.
My understanding is there's more Wi-Fi inside the bowl last year, and the Wi-Fi is much stronger in the concourses this year to support the cashless concession system. The plan, as I understand it right now, Verizon is looking at making a strong 8-figure investment in the cellular service inside the stadium for next year. Wi-Fi, we looked at, could we do anything to the Wi-Fi system shy of the stadium construction? And as I understand it, anything we put in, any repeaters we put in anywhere in the stadium are going to come down when the stadium is rebuilt anyway. So I think the choice is going to be, hopefully we can get the cellular system up and improved a little bit. Wi-Fi, it will be state-of-the-art once the new stadium is done in the 27-28 timeline. In the middle of that, I think part of what happened from last year to this year was also
Mr. Yogurt.
Yeah. Everything okay?
What was that?
He knows the Wi-Fi's horrible. Get off his back.
It's like anything else that they do would probably not be worth it until the new stadium. What's he talking about? Because the last that we heard about this, Josh, the last that we heard about this is that Trev's plan is kaput.
He's a bad man. Bad man.
Trev is bad, and we were getting chairbacks.
Ooh,
That's it. Chairs and chairbacks. Now, Josh, I don't know what you think about this, but would you refer to chairbacks as a new stadium, quote unquote? New stadium.
If I was a professional communicator, well, I am a professional communicator. If I was in the position of Troy Dannon and I was athletic director of a big time university, I would probably be a little more detailed, or I'd have the corporate phrasing down a little better on new stadium or new chairbacks.
So first of all, let me cut this off before we get too far down this line. I apologize to the people who are listening on the app. I know we're having issues with the stream and the app and how those two are connecting. We're trying to work through those issues. So if you got 30 seconds of silence there on the app, that's on us.
You know what Troy said.
That's on us. That's on us. But to recap, he was talking about some of the Wi-Fi issues and how basically they can't do anything until they build, quote, the new stadium. Now let's also be clear here after the apology. They're not getting a new stadium.
But he said new stadium,
they're not,
Connor.
They're not getting a new stadium.
I would never call Troy Dannon a liar.
But it is a window, I think, into sort of how they're thinking about this. And make no mistake about it, Saturday he'll be at the football game and he will be asked to clarify by various reporters who find him. What do you mean by new stadium? Is it possible that he just meant that's what I meant? The chairbacks? That's what the new stadium, that's what I'm talking about. What you know is what we know, and that's it. Or is it possible that there's something that there's a more intuitive, bigger scale plan here that we don't quite know about yet? What I can tell you is that they're not going to build a new stadium.
Seems unlikely.
Yeah, they're not going to build a new stadium.
Probably a stadium will be renovated, and in his mind, that's a new stadium.
Headley writes in on YouTube. You heard it here first. Nebraska is getting a new stadium, most likely a $1 billion dome, sponsored and donated by Berkshire Hathaway. Oh, yeah. Wow, exciting. That's what Mr. Yogurt was talking about. The new stadium, Star Wars Fiend says, is going to be in front of the new backdrop for Big Ten Crossing in Gretna.
Oh, they're going to move the stadium to Big Ten Crossing.
They're going to build a new stadium.
Right there.
Yep.
Genius.
Build a new stadium, make Big Ten Crossing pay.
He has so much money left over from Crossroads.
Interesting word choice there. I wonder if there's anything more to that. Because like I said, Josh, if the only plan at the moment was to put in chairbacks in the East and West Stadium, I wouldn't be referring to that as new stadium. I would be referring to that as construction on existing stadium.
Right.
I would be and obviously there's going to be some significant infrastructural changes that come with adding chairbacks to the East and West side. And like I said, maybe at the end of the day, that's all he's talking about.
That has to be all he's talking about. But why would he say that?
I don't think that has to be all he's talking about.
No?
No, I think he could be talking about something, a larger scale project. He's not talking about new, point blank period, new stadium. That's not a thing. Just so we're clear on that.
I feel it warranted a follow-up.
Well, that wasn't the headliner. Wasn't the headliner, I guess. Texter writes in from before. This is from the state of Missouri.
Hi, Missouri.
Those concessions figures, looking forward to more reporting on the underlying numbers. Things I think. Actual attendance numbers have been higher and people have stayed longer through 4 games. Night games might mean more sales than 11 a.m. kick. Taxes now added to the prices this year.
Okay.
Maybe more tips being added on or counted differently than in the $375,000 average.
Yeah.
Some work ahead for investigative journos.
Like a net
That's for
gross
sure.
sort of thing.
I totally believe that the crowds are thicker this year.
Yeah?
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, Nebraska's played only night games except for the opener, and the opener is always big.
Always.
So, yeah, I would imagine that would correlate to just generally more people through those turnstiles. And,
Not leaving early, sure.
Yeah, more people at the game. So that absolutely factors in the 900,000, not just the fact that it's cashless concessions. But the point of that one was it's working all right. It's gone pretty smooth. All right. Things to think about there with the athletic director. Headley writes in.
Hi, Headley.
He says, Happer seems to be hinting at a dome. Not hinting at all.
Oh, you're just saying it? New dome?
I'm not saying new dome.
Oh.
There will not be a dome on Memorial Stadium.
Nah, it's Big Ten. You want to play in the elements.
Robin Washut's going to join us on the other side. Talk about some of these issues and basketball and football and all of the things with Robin Washut coming up on 1620 The Zone.
the biggest basketball coaching convention of.
Can work on your skills. Are you listening?
What?
You don't remember? Yeah, I'm talking.
What is going on? Robin, are you okay?
Robin Washut.
Are your kids near you, or what just happened?
Husker Online.
I took a lot of preparation to make this thing a flawless interview, and clearly I still can't avoid it.
Robin Washut, Husker Online.
Maybe it was aliens. Maybe it was a phenomenon that we can't explain.
The Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Oh, that's right. Basketball season is here. Josh, aren't you ready for basketball?
Many people say it's better than football.
It's week 4 of college football, 5, I guess, of college football. And it's time to talk about basketball. College football is almost over. College basketball is ready to take over. Robin Washut of HuskerOnline.com joins us now on the 42 Degrees Source Hotline. Hi, Robin.
What's up?
We're very ready for basketball, yes?
Yep, it is fully John Rothstein.
Screw football
Time. Yes. We're no more sleeping. Not until May.
Oh, yeah, that's right. All right, so I need takes from the shooting of the basketballs yesterday.
Oh, not much.
Oh, come on.
Okay. So it's the same kind of viewing window that we normally get, where it's like just a lot of like really rudimentary like spot shooting drills and 3-man weave and that sort of thing. So like from the basketball standpoint of it, like you only take so much. But I guess one thing that you can take away is just the eyeball test, where there were 3 guys that were not on the floor the last time we saw this team do one of these open windows, and that's Braxton Mia, Berke Buyunktajul, and Gavin Griffith. And so seeing those 3 guys in person was notable. I guess we'll start from shortest to tallest and go with Griffith.
Nice.
He's a guy that hurt his wrist, or at least had a procedure done on his wrist towards the end of summer workout. But he's fully healthy now. And one of the things that I kind of laughed about it, but Fred Hoiberg said that he's a guy that has quote unquote sneaky athleticism. I try not to use that term, but you could see what he's talking about, just in the sense that
you could see how white he was.
Yes, that's exactly what I think. But he's got some bounce. Like he looks smooth when he's going up with the ball to the rim. Like just like the types of things that they'd been talking about him through the off season. We finally got a chance to see it. So I can confirm that. I don't know if the athleticism is even sneaky. I think he's just a good athlete, and probably better than many people think. So that was encouraging, and his shooting stroke looked really smooth. So he brings a lot to the table offensively that you can see why Nebraska is excited about him. And then with Berke, he was listed at 6'9" when he first got here, but like he's every bit of 6'10", and he looks just as big as Ring Mast, and just has a really smooth game to him offensively. I still need to see where he is defensively, at least at the Big Ten level, and just kind of what that picture looks like. But from his shooting stroke to just his low post operation on the block, like there's a lot to like there. And so you can see why he was such a coveted player for Nebraska staff, because I think he's going to allow them to do a lot of different things. And notably, Fred Hoiberg mentioned yesterday that they're going to try some lineups with him at the 5.
Oh,
and if we
small ball 5,
and you surround Berke with a bunch of shooters, with Griffith and Estesian and whatnot with Bryce Williams, and so like there's a lot of versatility there with that lineup. And then
people love this guy. People love the Braxton Mia.
And again, we'll see him actually play a minute of Big Ten basketball first, but man, just walking into the court and seeing him out there on the floor, like that's a very large human being. He's 7'1", and he's got that. I think he's got like a 7'5" wingspan. So like the length and height are obvious, but like what really jumps out is just how stout he is. He's muscular. Like I think they got him around 260-ish, and that seems about right. Like he's not just a tall, lanky guy like Nebraska's had in the past. He's a tall, long athlete that is going to give them a dynamic we haven't seen Nebraska basketball have in a long, long time. Just with his rim protection on defense, but then his ability to just throw a lob up there and finish, like that's a weapon Nebraska just hasn't had. I can't even remember the player that was in that realm. You know, there's a reason Fred Hoiberg said he's never coached a guy, even at the NBA level, like Braxton Mia.
Their bigs are usually wider, you know?
Yeah, or
not as lanky.
Pencil thin that get bumped around and really can't do much of anything towards the basket. So, like, this is what makes him so unique is that he's not just tall. He's not just got really long arms, but he can jump. Like, he's, you know, routinely getting his, you know, head above the rim and, you know, throwing down lob alley-oops that has just really never been a part of Nebraska's offense. So that's probably the most intriguing piece of all of them to me, because of the uniqueness that he can bring at the rim on both ends of the floor, but then also what his presence could potentially do to Nebraska schematically on defense especially. You know, they've had to compensate for not having a true rim protector for so long by having to, you know, double the post and, you know, trap on the baseline and do all those sorts of things. I'm just curious that with Braxton on the floor, does that allow them to do some things that maybe will not make them as susceptible on the perimeter? That's been a big knock about this defense, is that they have to overcommit doubling the post, that it allows the kickouts for wide open threes. You know, maybe that's going to negate that a little bit, because they actually do have a true defensive stopper under the basket. So, you know, again, that was probably the biggest takeaway from that whole thing, was just seeing these new guys, you know, on the floor for the first time, and then kind of getting a first picture of what their addition could mean for what Nebraska looks like this season.
Okay. I just have one more little thing, because you got me thinking. So, not about personnel or anything, just preseason stuff. So are they going to do a scrimmage at are they going to do a secret scrimmage or an open scrimmage? I know they have an exhibition. Like, what's their preseason look like?
Well, all of the above.
Okay.
They're going to do the opening night thing in the rail yard.
Okay, yes.
And that's not going to entail much basketball. Like, it's more just like a meet and greet fan event. But then they're very close to finalizing a public scrimmage that's going to be similar to like the football practice, where fans can, you know, buy a ticket and attend it, and then all the proceeds will go to NIL to help pay for players. So I think that's going to become probably a normal thing that they do leading up to the season. They just got to figure out where they're going to do it. I'm pretty sure it'll be the Saturday bye week, October 12th. That's probably the date you're looking at. It's just a matter of where. But I was told that it's likely going to be in Lincoln. So I guess the question is it at PBA? Is it at Devaney?
Almost for sure, right?
Else? Yeah, well, I don't know. Like, do they want it that big of a venue? Because, like, are they going to sell it out?
No.
They don't want, like, a half-empty arena. So maybe, like...
Well, it's not going to be on TV. Who cares? Who cares if it's half empty?
I don't know. I mean, maybe it could be a more unique... What if they did it, like, at the Coliseum or something like that?
Okay,
you know?
that would be awesome. I'd be in for that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you know, I mean, if you're going to charge tickets for it, at least make it a unique event where it's not just some inter-squad scrimmage in a half-empty arena. Like, I think you can do some cool stuff with it. But again, we should know the details on that sooner than later, because like I said, it's just a couple weeks away, I think is the target date, on October 12th. So they have that. And then
exhibition on the
October 19th, I believe, that Saturday, whatever that Saturday is, they're going to go out to Utah and play the return game of the closed scrimmage. So Utah came to Lincoln last year, and so Nebraska's returning the favor this year. And I believe that's going to be on the October, correct me if I'm wrong on the date, I think it's the 19th.
The 19th is the Saturday of the Indiana game. Yeah.
Yeah. So I believe there's no conflicts there with Utah. I think their football team plays on Friday or Thursday that game. Anyway, so they're going to have a closed scrimmage there that will give them another look. And then there's the formal exhibition game against, I can't even remember the state college they're playing, but that one, and then we're off and running on into regular season play.
Wow. What a fun month. See, basketball, Robin.
Telling you, we're here. It's happening.
Are you going to media days? Are you getting deep dish next week?
Well, I don't know about deep dish because this event is in Rosemont.
Yeah, I heard it was just right next to O'Hare, and then you just get off the plane, and then you just get back on the plane and go home.
Which, for my purposes, is extremely convenient, and I do appreciate that. But it's probably going to limit my
airport deep dish.
Yeah, well, I mean, Rosemont's got some stuff. Like that's where the Big Ten offices are, so there's stuff out there. It's just not, in the heart of the Windy City type stuff, so to speak.
That's okay.
But yeah, so
you don't have to go downtown.
That's this Wednesday and Thursday. The women are on Wednesday. They're going to do all 18 teams, and then the men are on Thursday, and they're going to do all 18 men's teams. So I'm going out Wednesday, coming back Thursday night. So the grind is about to get real here.
Football. Just we spent 10 minutes on basketball just by accident. That's how much we both love basketball. I'm very excited for basketball this year. Football wise, it's Wednesday, it's the middle of the week, and they're coming off of a loss, so that's always going to be the focus. Do you feel like we've expeditiously enough turned the page, whether it be us or the players? And I mean, obviously the players are going to get asked by the media, the coaches are going to get asked by the media, so they're only in so much control of that. But do you feel like we've adequately turned the page over to Purdue yet, or is that still coming?
No, I wouldn't say so, because all of the things that we were talking about on Monday, like, I don't know if they've really gotten any clear answers to. Like, even from a personnel standpoint, like, they got injury situations that we don't know. We don't know what Micah Mizuka's role is going to be. We don't know, what Tommy Hill's situation is and what they're going to do with that. And then, what have they done to improve their tackling? They've gone 2 straight games now with substandard run defense against a Purdue offense. That's really the only thing that they can do is run the ball. So, I think you try to turn the page, but until they actually go out there and show that these issues, that some of which have lasted 2 straight games now, are improving or have been fixed, I don't know if you can fully turn the page, at least from our standpoint. I mean, the team has, and hopefully they do as much as possible, but again, I think there's just too many unknowns right now still lingering from that Illinois loss and even the Northern Iowa game before that make it hard to go into this Purdue game with a totally clean slate.
Interesting. Okay, so a question for you, Robin, personally: Are you shook? Are you shook by the events of the Illinois game?
A little bit, and that's just because we're sitting here going into week 5. And one of the big concerns about Nebraska is the play of their defensive line and their front 7. That was the last thing I would have expected. I thought that was going to be the heart and soul of this team, the one constant that you knew was going to show up every single game, no matter the opponent. And now, like I said, 2 weeks in a row now, that's been a bit of an issue, especially in that Illinois game it was. So that is, the shook-worthy, I think, in the sense that the one thing that at least I thought I knew about this team is now very much a question mark. So yeah, I would put myself in the shook ones category.
You are shooketh?
Yep. I'm shook. I'm shaked.
You're shucked or that? Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you want to do the corn analogy, I guess you'd say you're shucked at this moment. Yeah, I mean, now on the other side, there are some. Dylan Raiola. I feel like we haven't talked about this because of the result of the game, and deservedly so. Nebraska lost in a game that they should have won in conference play and all that stuff. But the underrated somehow story of this week is that it's confirmed that Dylan Raiola is very, very good at what he does.
Yes. Yeah, and it's unfortunate that isn't getting the attention it deserves, because we should have been talking about that performance in a top 25 victories that proved Nebraska to 4-0, but instead all these other problems are now kind of overshadowing that. And that was an important step for Dylan, just because it was the best defense he's faced to date. It was his first taste of Big Ten football and the national spotlight, and for the most part I thought he played as well, if not better, than you would have hoped. Now, I will say that at the end of that game was kind of the first time you saw him look like a freshman, where he was making some
mistakes and showed a little bit of nerves that he hadn't really shown to that point in his first 3 games. And I point to just dropping the football twice on 3 plays, and his missing that touchdown pass. Like, that's a throw that he probably makes 99 times out of 100, but on that stage, in that moment, with that pressure, he sailed it. And so, like, as good as he was, it shows that, he's still kind of going through that learning curve. But for him to be at this point, regardless of those late game, mistakes and miscues that he had, there's not much to complain about. He's been exceptional. And for a guy that has had so much put on his shoulders to respond the way that he has thus far, I take everything that he's done to this point as only encouraging if you're Nebraska.
All right, Robin Washut of HuskerOnline.com. Robin, we appreciate the time as always, and we will talk to you soon. Good luck with that airport deep dish.
Yeah, I'm going to scout it out a little bit. I think there might be like a...
Well, I guess we'll talk to you. Will we talk to you next week?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I don't leave until like Wednesday night.
All right, cool. All right. Well, we'll talk about airport deep dish again next week.
Well, I'll get into it. I'll do some research.
All right, see ya.
See ya.
Robin Washut of HuskerOnline.com. Okay, yeah. So the men's basketball team at Nebraska, they're going to have a secret quote unquote secret scrimmage, and then they're finalizing the details on the open scrimmage, and then they're going to have the exhibition as well. I think that I don't know about the women's basketball secret scrimmage, but I think they have plans to do an open scrimmage as well, potentially that same week. Hopefully getting some final details on that one just sewed up. And then they're going to have their exhibition on that October 27th against Dannon as well. A lot of stuff to put together here for this next month. By the way, Creighton, equal time, right? It's political season. Creighton, red versus blue. They are opening up practice. Well, the Greg McDermott is going to talk here in just a few minutes, and media will get to watch some practice. I'm curious to see the takes on some of the new personnel that Creighton will be sporting out on the court this afternoon. So we'll stay tuned for that one as well. We'll be back after this on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone. Josh, pop quiz.
Oh,
Who are just by your standard?
God.
Who are name me the best 2 teams in the Big 12 conference?
I'm going to go Utah and
Say it.
Oklahoma State, and they just played each other?
Nope. Try again. Try another one.
Oh, K-State?
Try another one.
Oh, yeah, they just got kind of
Sometimes
bludgeoned.
people forget that this team's in the Big 12.
I'm not saying Colorado. It's not Colorado.
It was the team that just bludgeoned Kansas State over the weekend.
BYU?
Utah and BYU.
Holy war.
Utah's running the Big 12.
Are people high on BYU?
People are kind of high on BYU.
I don't. Outside of that one game where I was really just watching to see if a guy was going to stuff a burrito up his butt,
Yep.
I really have nothing. I have no knowledge about the Cougs.
Well, they are 4-0.
That's
They are
good.
now the 22nd ranked team in the country.
That's good.
The games that they played before, they played Kansas State and whipped them, were not particularly impressive. They beat
SMU by 3.
They beat SMU by 3, Wyoming by 20, and the Salukis
Hello.
in an FCS game. And then they wrecked K-State because many reasons, but
that had nothing to do with them.
Most
though.
virally, they got 7 points because the punt returner dropped the ball, ran backwards 40 yards, and then ran for a touchdown. They were speculating on that broadcast, and I think they're probably about right. Is probably in between 150 and 170 yards. That it was probably more because he was on the right side of the field, and he ended up looping all the way back around to the left. So he probably ran almost 200 yards.
Incredible.
At 4,000 feet of elevation in Provo.
But BYU only won that game because the guy threatened to stuff a burrito up his butt.
You think that?
Yeah.
The Big 12 is our nation's weirdest conference.
It is up for grabs.
So what do we do with this information? And I have a question for you all. You all, of course, of your college football high horse. I am too.
The Royal
We're
y'all.
college football elitists. We're in the Big 10. We're comfortable.
Damn right.
We're very happy we're in the Big 10. But are you at all jealous of this sicko conference? This is a sick, disgusting madhouse of a conference.
No, I would
You're
hate,
not?
I would hate not knowing what's going to
I kind of want to
happen.
be a part of it.
Just
I like it.
a blind random simulation of a season.
UCF
That's what
is
the Big 12 is.
UCF is more than 2 touchdown favorites against Colorado this weekend. You have any idea who's going to win that game? I don't.
Nope. I don't. The line should
You have any
indicate-
idea by how much?
Nope.
UCF could win by 30. Colorado could win. I don't know.
It's at the bounce house. I don't know what that means.
Colorado could probably win by 14. I have no idea.
They have the 2 best players.
It is a Junko what I just made that word up. A Junko conference.
Mhm.
Kansas, they're supposed to go to the college football playoff. Turns out they suck. Houston, perennially pretty good. They suck.
Can't recruit in their own state.
BYU doesn't know how to defend a Hail Mary. They suck. Oklahoma State, they got beat by Utah. I don't know if they suck, but they lost.
I was told Arizona was supposed to be relatively decent.
Arizona hasn't played a conference game yet, but they suck. I don't know. Maybe all these teams suck. Maybe that's the answer.
Oh, SMU's ACC. That's right.
Yeah.
Never mind them. And their ability to play players has much improved to their football team. Odd how that works.
Cincinnati. What do we think about Cincinnati? They any good?
Oh no, they're a dumpster fire, aren't they?
I mean, they beat Houston 34-0.
That's because Houston is also a dumpster fire. Yeah. That's the Purdue Northwestern of the Big 12.
Nice. Are you sure? I mean, they beat. Let's take a look at Cincinnati.
Cincinnati's horrible.
Why is Cincinnati so bad?
They're one of the worst Power 4 teams in the country, supposedly by the experts.
Oh, are you looking at the metrics? They lost to Pitt by 1, and they beat the other. They won the other 3 games they played. They're 3-1. How are they supposed to be the worst? I don't get it. What am I missing?
Just the things I read from people who are smarter than me.
I don't know. I don't know who that distinction would belong. Who is the worst power conference team in the country right now? Oh, it's got to be. Could it? I mean, Does Purdue have a case here?
If you look at the analytics,
I love analytics.
Purdue is
bad
Purdue at everything.
Is Purdue the worst power conference team in America?
Just to stir the pot, I'll throw in what about Florida State?
Sure, I don't have any problem with that. But I don't think that's pot stirring by you either.
Okay.
That's probably in the conversation. NC State was supposed to be good this year. They're kind of bad. Yeah. They might have some claim to this.
I thought Florida and Arkansas would be a little worse than they are.
Here's the thing that's happened though. The regular dumpsters of the conferences, of the power conferences, like such as Vandy, like not that Vandy's any good, but like Vandy, Boston College, Wake Forest, Northwestern, Rutgers.
I don't even think of Wake. It's got to be an ACC team.
All those teams are kind of okay.
Yeah.
All those teams are fine. I mean, Boston College might actually be good.
Yeah. Seem to be taking to coaching up there in Boston.
Vanderbilt, they pushed Missouri to the brink this weekend. They might be fine.
Diego Pavia.
All of the power conference dumpsters they're like, no, we're a nice dumpster now.
Cal's 3-1.
Yeah, Cal.
They're normally a very reliable dumpster.
So there's my question for the segment. What's up with that?
Good question.
What's up with the dumpsters being like nice dumpsters?
Whoa, what's up with that?
Nice.
What's up with that?
Okay, we should do that segment, even though it's a direct ripoff of another segment from
don't
another
care.
show. Ooh wee.
What's up with that?
What is up with that? I don't know. It's an open-ended question.
It is.
What is up with that? Mississippi State dumpster. They're pretty bad.
Yeah.
They got drilled by Florida.
Don't get drilled by Florida.
Don't lose to Florida at home.
They won't have a coach in a few weeks.
So I'm looking at these conferences so far, and I know we're only one game deep here, basically in the conference season. But
Kentucky 0-2 in conference.
We're kind of upside down.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are now incessantly telling me about Mississippi State. I just remembered Mississippi State. They got absolutely crushed by Toledo, and then got beat by Florida. Got smoked by Florida at home. That's tough. They might be the power conference dumpster can.
Toledo?
Yeah, they lost to Toledo, right? Yeah, they got smoked by Toledo.
Oof.
Yeah, they got smoked by Toledo.
At home,
Florida,
in Starkville.
Toledo did worse things to Mississippi State than Florida did.
My God.
That probably tells you a little bit more about Toledo than it does anything else. Like Toledo might be good.
Sure.
But
the Rockets.
Don't lose to Toledo at home 41-17. Not advisable.
Gonna have a bad time.
Do not do that.
Big Bulldog overreaction must have been popping.
So that's my open-ended question of the day. What's up with that, first of all? And who are our nation's biggest power conference dumpsters? And are you hesitating to say Purdue because you're scared that you'll lose?
On Monday, I'll absolutely go, I think Purdue's the worst team in the country, guys.
Text from the 402.
Hi, 402.
Dannon is a good quarterback. Not saying he isn't. Wouldn't trade him for anybody else. All caps. But he is not Patrick Mahomes. During TV timeouts, he is off throwing with the ball boy. He needs to be in the huddle with his teammates and coaches.
Whoa.
Just my opinion.
He's ahead of everyone else.
Just
I don't know if you knew
checking
this.
in. So I don't know that we ever mentioned this on the show. We got to take a break here in a second. But I don't know if we ever mentioned this yet. I believe it was it was either the Colorado game or the Northern Iowa game. All three of the last three games just totally smushed together for me at this point because I was sitting in the exact same place and the surroundings looked the same because it was dark outside. It was one of those games, and maybe somebody who was in the stadium could tell me the answer to this question, which game it was. But they were honoring the people who did the flyover on the field, as they commonly do. And Dylan Raiola, after they got done introducing them, after they went off the camera, he was warming up, getting ready for the fourth quarter of this game. And He went down the line and he stopped throwing the football and he went down the line and shook hands with them. I think
shake your hand.
I don't. What I'm saying is we shouldn't cap him at just being Patrick Mahomes.
Oh.
He might be President Patrick Mahomes. He might be the president. I don't know if you view that as
salute.
I don't know if you view that as like this very royal position anymore.
What's
but
his takes on the economy?
He's just doing all the right things. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have an answer to that. I'm sure he'd have a well put together thought, though.
If any scribe would like to ask him his thoughts on women's rights, I'd love to listen.
Text from Chris in South Carolina.
Hi, Chris.
Also, what's the story behind this burrito up the butt Josh was talking about?
Okay.
Yeah.
So
we don't have time for this.
Okay.
But
a K-State fan.
There was
on
K-State
Twitter.
fan on Twitter who said, if K-State loses to BYU, I'll shove a beefy 5-layer burrito up my butt. That's the story.
And predictably,
they did.
That thing happened.
That bet has not yet been cashed.
Saturday night.
Back after this with the polls. We'll tell you what to watch on 1620 The Zone. To the polls at Happer Show on the J-Tech Construction Zone Twitter feed. 3 of them for you today, all of them within the last 27 minutes.
Yeah, it was a productive conversation with Robin Washut.
That's good. Sounds like somebody had to meet their quota.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. Airport deep dish, yes or no? I'd do it.
Yeah, I would not be against it.
65% say no.
I understand.
And poll question number. So you would do it?
I would do it.
Okay.
I'm voting yes, but I understand the no's.
65% say no. Art thou shooketh? Yes or no? I'm not shook. I'm not shook about Nebraska losing. 59% are shook about Nebraska losing, but they don't know that it's about Nebraska losing. They just were asked if they're shooketh. And third and final poll today is the Big 12 Conference, a Junko conference, a word that I invented. Junko.
I'm going to go yes.
Yeah, and you know what I'm talking about.
It doesn't necessarily mean it's bad.
No, it's just a lot of stuff going on.
Right.
It's like a junk drawer.
It is like a junk drawer. That is exactly right.
There's some good stuff in the junk drawer.
Mm-hmm.
Probably some coins.
Valuable stuff.
Pens.
The scissors.
Yes. 79% say yes, the Big 12 is Junko conference. Those are the polls, Josh. What are we watching today?
We are watching Major League Baseball. The Mariners and the Astros are on right now. Astros clinched last night. The Mariners still have something to play for. Is this correct?
They are not mathematically eliminated at this very moment in time.
Okay. Allegedly, the Mets are going to play the Braves at 6:20 tonight. It's the MLB TV free game of the day. There's a hurricane forecasted for the Atlanta area, so it seems highly unlikely that these two will play a game of baseball today. They were off. Both teams were off Monday. They're perfectly sunny in Atlanta this afternoon. But did they play Monday, or did they play on the off day Monday or during the day today? No, they did not.
They're just going to roll it.
Just really screw everyone over by playing a doubleheader on Monday and then right to the playoffs on Tuesday.
Hey, remember Chris Sale? He ripped up that jersey because he didn't want to wear it.
Yeah.
You think he wants to start 7 hours earlier than when he's supposed to?
No.
He'd rip another jersey for that.
Atlanta is half a game back of the Diamondbacks for the final wild card spot. They are 1 game back of the Mets for the second wild card spot, and the tiebreaker between the Mets and the Braves. The Braves lead that 6-5. Orioles Yankees, a game that probably will be played 6:00 on ESPN Plus. ESPN2 tonight at 6:00. MLB Squeeze play. They'll whip around the league, tell you what's happening, and it'll be fun for everyone.
That's good.
Yeah.
Baseball games that matter.
That's right. The Fighting Caitlin Clarks are in Connecticut to take on the Sun. Connecticut leads 1 game to none, 6:30 ESPN. That will be followed by Minnesota and Phoenix. The Lynx took game 1 from the Mercury on the Mercury's home floor. So interesting the way that's shaking out. Disney Plus has Inside Out 2 today. The sequel introduces new emotions, anxiety, embarrassed, ennui, and envy, who disrupt the mind of a teenage Riley. Netflix has the 6-part docuseries Mr. McMahon. It chronicles the rise and fall of Vince McMahon, the controversial businessman who co-founded WWE, and his subsequent fall after sexual misconduct allegations.
Chronicling Vince McMahon inherently is interesting.
Yes.
So,
also, he tried to buy this project so that no one would ever see it. He is a man who has always controlled the narrative and now finally does not.
Yikes.
I will be watching and not complaining about the many, many parts within the docuseries. And finally, Connor, tonight, 9:00 on FX and Hulu, the first 2 episodes of a new series from Ryan Murphy, who controls television. It is called Grotesquerie. A detective, played by Niecy Nash Betts, teams up with a nun to solve a string of eerie crimes. NFL player Travis Kelce,
of course,
co-stars. This year, Travis Kelce has 8 catches for 69 yards and no touchdowns.
Josh, he's just warming up. He's just warming up.
We played 3 games.
He's only here for the playoffs nowadays.
He might be fat and washed. He's also the same age as Rob Gronkowski.
Don't judge the man by what he looks like in August. Judge him by what he looks like in January.
I understand.
All right. The Chiefs are in that mode right now.
Very much so. Flip the switch.
But with that being said, we talked about this last year. He has been deteriorating for some time now.
He's the same age as Gronk, who retired like 6 years ago.
So let's just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
This was happening already. And now it's just kind of playing out a little
Go be
more
with
in front of your eyes.
Go be with your girlfriend. Go do entertainment projects with your
You
brother.
don't have to retire
It's
yet.
fine.
There's some stuff in there that he can still do, but just don't expect him to be Travis Kelce that he was 4 years ago. It's not.
Got to pick your spots.
All right, thanks, Josh.
Thanks, Connor.
That's what we're watching tonight. That's the show. If you miss anything, you can find it all on our website, 1620thezone.com. Time for the crossover. It's next.